Right. I think we're live. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. If anyone in the chat can hear me, just push one. All right, we got a confirmation from Super Triz. Thanks for the confirmation. Welcome back to the Black Brain Trust. This is episode 395. Please hit the like button as you come in. Share the video if possible. Hit that notification bell so you get all the updates from the Black Brain Trust, including those posted on the community tab. If you want to engage in the discussion on the panel, there'll be a link in the chat. When you click on the link, make sure you raise your hand so that one of us can acknowledge you and advance you to the panel. Tonight is Black Car Talk. So yeah, no real docket to go with this or anything like that. Kind of just freestyling, looking at some of the current events that has happened. I know that there hasn't been a whole lot of rumbling as of late about the C8. Actually, there's been one rumbling. There was a truck that was spotted with a bunch of C8s on there wrapped up, so going to dealerships. So what I'm thinking here is there's going to be a whole lot of cars that's going to come on. It's going to come onto the market that's going to be dirt cheap relative to their retail price, right? We talked about the C7 Grand Sports. I just saw a video on YouTube. I forget the name of the channel, but they were just talking about the Grand Sport, the C7 Grand Sport, and they were talking about how great it is and how affordable it's going to be in the next 6 months, and that those are going to be the go-to whips now. Not even the Z06. The Z06. Hold on a second. Yeah. So the Z06, although it's a fast whip, it's not necessary in terms of street driving. And so you can get by just fine with a Grand Sport with some Cup 2 tires on there and some real light wheels. You get yourself some hyper forged wheels, lightweight. Because I think the ones that come with the Grand Sport are just cast aluminum or cast iron or something like that. They're really heavy relative to some hyper forged wheels. So you can come out pretty well with a Z06. With a Grand Sport, C7 Grand Sport. We got Triz on the panel, man. What's going on?
What's going on, Mike? Your microphone sounding crispy today. What's going on?
I don't know, man. It might just be the fact that there's nothing else going on in the house. So
maybe that's what it is, man. Because your mic sound real crispy today.
Yeah. Let me pop my collar real quick.
Yeah, pop that collar one time.
What's going on? What you got on your mind, man?
Hey, man. I'm just kicking back. Yeah, I'm listening to you. Listen to you talking about that. That Grand Sport Corvette. Now you're talking about the C7, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, the C7. Yeah. It's definitely a good deal. I wish the actual schematic, I'm a big fan of the C4 Grand Sport.
Really?
Because I don't know, just something about it. And also when you look at the actual the way they did the actual schematic, the library for that Grand Sport, it's like spot on. Like they've done a modern interpretation on the C7, but it just doesn't look the same as it did when it was, because the C4 had the stripe all the way down the middle.
Okay.
With the blue paint and then a black rims, with the red hash marks on it on the fender, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. But at any rate, beyond that, the performance obviously of the C7 is head and shoulders above anything, that came from out of that C4 generation. So, yeah, for those people that are, because when you really think about it, let's really think about this, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Think about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
The equivalent, I guess, would be let's compare the C7 Grand Sport to a Toyota Supra.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Toyota Supra obviously is a newer model. It does have the turbocharged engine, which may have a little bit more versatility as far as power output is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But like when you talk about the vehicle, if you don't really want to molest the engine a little bit too much,
Mm-hmm.
beyond maybe putting exhaust, maybe putting a camshaft on it, anything like that. I mean, that Grand Sport, you can't beat that bargain. Because you're talking about from a performance standpoint, I mean, how much better really is a fresh Supra off the lot?
Mm-hmm.
And you look about the price difference is staggering. And then you're talking about a V8. I mean, for those that care about the actual V8 Rumble, I mean, there's a lot going for that C7 Corvette.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think we focus too much on just the raw power of a Z06 in like the Mustang GT500, because even the GT350Rs, those are coming down in price too. I won't get to that in a few seconds, but yeah, I'm looking at the prices right now. Even Stingrays are coming down. I saw a Stingray the other day for 30 bands. With like 25,000 miles on it. So I'm looking at this right now. This is the 2016 to 2019 Grand Sport selection on Car Gurus. That's a Z06 right there. But Grand Sports were not so much as limited in production, but a lot of people who did order these did not have a really flamboyant package to them. I think a lot of guys got caught up with the Stingrays, man, and just kind of left it as it was. And that's not to business for me. I like the flares, the fender flares, and the package that the Grand Sport comes in, especially a 3LT. Now, let me just click on this real quick. Not that I'm interested in this particular vehicle. I just want to show it as an example. You can find a pretty clean Grand Sport on the market. Why is this not changing? Make sure I find coupe.
I mean, hey, now hold on, Mike. We got to look at that. The 2017 Z51 1LT Coupe, 7,515 miles, $32,000. Okay, that right there is the problem.
Okay.
When you look at that car, right,
Mm-hmm.
and I know it's not a Grand Sport, but at least it has the Z51 package.
Okay.
Don't talk to me about a GT350. Don't talk to me about a Supra. Don't talk to me about a Mustang, period. Don't talk to me about a Camaro. That right there, like if you're looking for a front engine rear, actually, honestly, don't even talk to me about a Viper.
Okay. I don't know if you get a Viper for 32K though.
That's what I'm talking about. We're talking about value for dollar. If you're talking about value for dollar, I don't want to hear anybody mention any other front engine rear wheel drive coupe, period. You can't.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a hard deal. See if you can put up with the Corvette Stingray's interior, man, 'cause you know those things smell, man. They have a pretty distinctive smell to them. I don't know, man. It's like fresh wax or something like that, or burnt wax or something, man. Some kind of like glue bondage or something like that. Um, like Gorilla Glue. But if you can deal with that, man, I mean, looking at this right here, man, that's a pretty clean example.
Oh, that's super clean. That blue looked good on it too, man.
Yeah, yeah. Wouldn't bother me at all for 37 bands. I don't know, man.
And then you got the nice painted red brick calipers. Looks like it has Alcantara interior.
Let me see.
Yeah, it looks like it had Alcantara. You can go back on there, take a peek.
No, I don't think that's Alcantara.
Right, and the actual seat insert.
Oh, that. Yeah, I don't know if that is. That doesn't look like it. Just looks like regular cotton to me.
Look at the passenger side view.
Okay.
You may have to. I think you already right there. You see that?
Yeah, that doesn't. I don't think that's Alcantara. No,
Well, what are those fingerprint things? What is that?
I mean, it's fingerprints on there. That I don't think those are fingerprints. They look like some kind of they just cleaned it. But
Oh, okay. Because I'm looking at it on my phone right now. I'm out on my computer, so it's kind of hard for me to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think a Z51 it has Alcantara in it. I know Grand Sports do have them, and I know Z06 definitely have them, but I don't know if Stingrays actually have them.
Preference for you, Alcantara versus leather. What do you think? What's your preference?
I'm a big fan of Alcantara, especially on the steering wheel. So for me, if I had Alcantara on the steering wheel, what I would do is I would just rock gloves with it.
Yeah.
I really wish I would have bought gloves for my Volkswagen because I can see the the leather wrapping coming around from around the shifter and whatnot starting to deteriorate because of the oils in your hand. Even though they said they can repair something like that, it's just a matter of maintaining it because it's expensive to actually keep the upholstery up to snuff. Yeah, I just saw some Grand Sports here, man. I'm not sure why Car Gurus does this.
Did you filter? Oh yeah, you can filter on the left. Filter by trim on the left.
Yeah, I did that before, but it didn't bring back anything. All right, we should be good now. Let's see. The cheapest Grand Sport is 37K.
How many miles on that 37K one?
About 80,000.
Okay, but there was one. I think there was one for like 40 something with a lot less miles.
Yeah, let me look.
43,000, 11,000 miles.
Where do you see that? Oh, okay. I see where you're looking.
But see, the thing about it is that if I get a sports car, it's not going to be white.
Yeah, it has to be the exclusive color, like yellow or orange or something exclusive that there was like a one-off or something like that. I'm the same way like you. I'm never spending that kind of money for that kind of color. That doesn't make any sense. Unless you plan on wrapping it later. I mean, I guess you can get away with wrapping it, but
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, for me, if I'm going to get it, it's going to be an exclusive color that's going to maintain the value of it.
We'll see. You can get the white, and then you can get your favorite. You can get your favorite NASCAR wrap, Mike.
Never had a NASCAR wrap, man, but or NASCAR memorabilia. But the thing about Grand Sports is that they usually come pretty. They usually come without a lot of delivery on it, right? The the little 3 flags and stuff like that on the side of the car.
Yeah, the hash mark, the fender hash marks and stuff like that.
Yeah, like this one right here.
Yeah, that's the fender hash marks right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking when they took the pictures of this one, man. Must have been using like a potato phone or something, man. Damn.
Yeah, they still got a Motorola Razr.
I don't know, man. Just looking at the advertisement like that turns me off. So, um, yeah, I mean, Z06 is from what I was told about a month or so ago at the dealership was that you should expect to see those come down to about 45K, 44K. Grand Sports expect to be around 40 to 42K is what the specialist was estimating. These are all 1LTs. Let's narrow it down to just a 3LT. I don't know the difference between a 3LT and a 1LT. I'd be interested in knowing though. Let me see. Yeah, these 3LTs are up there.
You know what makes the C7 also so desirable? We're talking about a front engine rear wheel drive car V8 that still has a manual transmission, 3 pedals.
Well, some of them do.
Yeah, some of them. I mean, at least it's available.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if I get a C7, mandatory manual transmission.
Yeah.
Well, that one's nice.
Yeah, it's all blacked out. It looks pretty good.
Now, see, the question is you got to read the comments on something. So, like when I look at a car like that, the first thing I do is I go to the comments, and then I want to see if they've been doing some aftermarket stuff to it. Because, see, sometimes at the aftermarket, you don't know what you're getting because you don't know where they went and got this stuff done, if it was done, right by reputable people.
Yeah.
So that's another kind of, I'm kind of iffy on aftermarket stuff on vehicles.
It looks pretty stock though. It doesn't look like it's modified. Doesn't say so either.
Well, that they could have did a pulley swap. Who knows under the hood? I mean, usually I'll put it in the comments though.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I'm thinking about a Z06. That's the actual Grand Sport.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Speaking of the Z06, I mean, come on. They're talking about potential. Now that's really nice right there.
Yeah.
We're talking potentially 45,000, 45K, probably for a nice model, probably about 47K estimated price drop. For a 650 horsepower car that's supercharged. I mean,
yeah, but you got to keep in mind that those cars are fast, but they're not as accurate, right? I mean, you got to get the right tires for them. I've been talking with people getting lighter weight wheels, and making sure that you're what you call it. I think one of the questionable items on there was brake fluid. That brake fluid gets really hot on those if you hot dog it around enough. So,
but one thing where tires don't make as much of a difference is on a highway, highway pull. Okay. So you on the highway, somebody pull up next to you, and they give you that look.
Okay.
I don't care what tires you got on. That 650 horsepower, you're gonna walk away from pretty much from most cars.
Yeah.
Most cars gonna get walked away on.
It provided that you don't go sideways with it. We've seen enough of those videos, man.
Yeah.
Guys go sideways real quick with those. We got our boy Paul Bryant on here, straight from Stuttgart. What's going on, bro?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Chilling, man. You have any ideas? Any thoughts you want to share with us about cars today?
Anything in particular as far as the topic?
No, it's just general. This is open topic.
Ford Mustang GT350 and the 350R. Ford built a lemon because the engine in that car, it's been a little over a year now, and it is
Okay.
a nationwide problem. That engine spins rod bearings.
Really?
Really. It's been over a year now. That's why I sent those videos. It is
Okay.
a nationwide problem. It is a known problem. It's been over a year now. That motor spins rod bearings, leading to catastrophic engine failure. So it is a typical Ford, fixed or repaired daily, or in this case, found on road dead.
Mm-hmm.
I think part of the problem, Paul Bryan, is that this is Ford's first foray into, well, we're talking about a production flat plane crank V8 engine with such a high rev limit.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't, they probably should have consulted. If I was Ford, I would have consulted with like somebody like Yamaha. Like they did it with the SHO Ford. Yamaha still makes motorcycle engines, obviously, because they're still a very reputable motorcycle manufacturer. So they have a lot of experience with the intricacies of an engine with a high RPM limit. Because let's bear in mind, it's like you know once you start talking about over 6,000, 6,500 RPMs, um, it gets I should say, exponentially more difficult
Mm-hmm.
to raise that rev limit past 6,500 RPMs, and maintain reliability. There's a lot of engineering that goes into that. People don't realize that, I think the GT350, I think it revs to about what, 8250, if I'm not mistaken, Paul Bryant.
It revs to 8250, but
8250.
that is the specific reason why you use a flat plane crankshaft, because a flat plane crankshaft is is built for a high RPM motor. So um, a lot of tuners have been breaking down the motor, and they're saying either the material that they use to make the connecting rod bearings, it's probably a cheap material.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying that the 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 block does not have any oil journals, so there isn't enough cooling right around the crankshaft. And then the exact same thing you just said. They said, yeah, flat plane crank was good, but if they were going to make those rod bearings that thin or such a cheap material, then they shouldn't have clocked the motor so high. They probably should have clocked it to say 7,000 as opposed to 8,250. However, Ford has been in racing since the 1960s. They have zero excuse. They should have enough people in house to not have designed a motor with such weak rod bearings. And if they didn't have people in house, they certainly have the money to go outside. So, you know what? No excuses. They designed a lemon. Typical Ford.
Well, what I'm thinking here is that, based on your statement, Paul, is that the ball bearings was manufactured by somebody from down the street that was connected with somebody on the inside and said, we got to maintain our jobs here, so we'll give you the cheap bearings and and keep us in business, right? And maybe to your point that the cheap bearings was the downfall, right?
Well, connecting rod bearings, even though they call them bearings, but in reality, it's really a metal ring. But
Mhm.
for whatever reason, they call that a bearing, but it's a connecting rod bearing. But um, the thing about those bearings are, they cause catastrophic engine failures. So for every motor, Ford investigates the motor, and assuming that you have not tuned it, because a lot of people tune it. So if you have not tuned that motor, Ford, obviously it's under warranty. They replace the motor. That's 30,000 per motor. That's a lot of money that they're shelling out to replace motors. and it's been over a year and they still don't have this problem fixed. So you're telling me, and I hear what you're saying, Mike, and I don't disagree with you at all. I'm just saying that sounds incredible that someone still hasn't been able to fix this problem yet.
And maybe it's not meant to be fixed either, too.
Well, what they're doing is they're actually, they're actually replacing the motor, and the problem is that here's the thing. The biggest issue is not just the motor replace. Well, besides the motor being replaced. Okay, so say you're an owner, right? You have a GT350. It's not just a GT350Rs. It's any GT350. Anything with that 5.2 liter flat plane crank Voodoo engine, right?
Right.
So now you have that vehicle. Also, what about people who have crate motors? Because some people shelled out an exorbitant amount for a Voodoo crate motor. So now you have this particular motor. And let's say you have it in your Mustang GT350. The engine, you had the Mustang for a year and a half, 2 years. It's still in full powertrain warranty. Then you have an issue with the bearing. Hopefully you haven't modified it.
Exactly.
So now you go for a warranty claim, right?
Done.
You go for a warranty. Okay, so you haven't modified it. You go for a warranty claim, right? Now the question then becomes, is my warranty going to be reset now that I have a new motor?
That is a question, honestly, I do not have an answer for. That's the one thing that I have not seen anyone ask on any of the forums or any of the articles that I have read, because I literally spent about 2 to 3 days nonstop just reading this, because to me it's fascinating that in this day and age, Ford gets a lot of heat, and I find it somewhat comical that they're completely living up to that heat. That I don't know. That would be an interesting question. I can only speculate. That's a very good question, though.
And the other problem is that when they start talking about what's a modification, if there's anything done before the catalytic converter as far as exhaust is concerned, it's going to be a problem. That's going to void your that's going to get them out of doing a warranty repair on your motor, because you could put a catback exhaust, but most people are not going to just put a catback exhaust, because the GT350 has active valves. Mm-hmm. So what you really want to do is you want to look into maybe getting some people who are really serious, get long tube headers or something like that. That right there is gonna be a problem if you have to replace your engine. And everybody that gets a Mustang, people that get Mustangs don't leave their vehicle stuck. I had a Mustang. Mm-hmm. And the first thing I did, I'm talking about the first week I brought my Mustang. I had it for 2 days. I took it right to the shop. I got long tube headers. I got the full exhaust, everything, which was a waste of money because I ended up getting twin turbos later. But within the first week, I already had long tube headers on my Mustang.
And see, that's the issue that Ford is on, because the Ford dealer, has to contact whichever regional Ford office. The immediate response from the Ford regional office to that particular dealer, they want pictures of the engine bay and underneath the car. They decide whether they're going to honor the warranty or not. And if you have any modifications on that vehicle, they will not honor the warranty obligation. So you're done. So exactly what you just said. So if you have headers, you better go you better tow it to wherever you had the work done, put the factory headers back on, and then go to your dealer, because if not, you are stuck with you're stuck with the work, because when you spin a connecting rod bearing, it basically throws that piston off balance, and it scrapes the cylinder wall. That's a catastrophic engine failure, unless you want to spend the money to now port out every cylinder. Whereas then you do that, now you have to increase the size of your pistons. So that's basically engine work. So at that point, now you're completely changing the engine, and as we all know, that's a lot of money, a lot of time invested. So what you want to do is you're hoping that Ford is going to honor your warranty.
Are they also? Is it a violation of the warranty as well to put a K&N air filter on it?
Um, that's a good question. That might it depends because I saw one guy. He had he went to have his he went to the dealer to get his obviously get the car fixed. So the filter itself wasn't the problem. It was he had a cold air exhaust added onto it. So that it's a different box and tube that goes into the throttle body, and because of that, they voided out the warranty. So it wasn't the filter, but it was that intake. You following?
Yep, I
Yeah.
had one of those too. I had a cold air intake. I had a Boss 302 intake manifold. Like if something would happen to my car, I would have been screwed. Because just the long tube headers, they cost like 1,800 just for the headers, not counting the labor, and it takes a whole day to put those in because
Right.
they got to fool around. They got to take the whole doggone car apart down there to fit them in there because the car's not designed for them.
Right.
So they got to take those off and replace the stock exhaust manifold. Put the stock intake manifold. So basically, you got to take all that stuff off, put it back on, and then take your car in for a warranty service.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And mind you, the whole time your car had to be towed there because it's inoperable once you had that catastrophic engine failure.
Right. Right. Exactly. So, and the bad thing about when the motor spins connecting rod bearings, initially you don't hear it. So as it's spinning and it's spinning and it's spinning, so now it's spun, it's cracked. So now that piston is now unbalanced, it's digging up against the cylinder wall. So
Mhm.
now the car starts knocking, and you start hearing a tapping, a knocking, a knocking. So it's between the rubbing of the cylinder wall and then the connecting rod spinning where it connects. The bolt is now spinning around the bearing around the crankshaft. So by the time you hear that knocking, the damage is already done.
Email is showing up.
Hey, what's going on, Zone? You got anything you want to
What's up,
add?
Mike? What's wrong with the engine exactly?
Yeah,
You-
yeah. I was just saying that I spent about I was spent about 2+ days researching the motor in the Ford Mustang Shelby GT350 and the GT350R, and
Uh-huh.
how it's been a known problem now for over a year now, a nationwide problem, and the motor spins connecting rod bearings. It's a lemon.
Okay, so I guess the only option would be to file a class action lawsuit if there is an issue like that.
That is a good question. Some people are talking about that, but hasn't really gained a lot of traction yet because now you have to prove you have to prove that Ford knew about the problem before people started coming into the dealers with it. So even though it's a kind of a case of when an auto manufacturer recalls something because something happened and some people get bodily injury, so now they file a class action lawsuit. So that's a slippery slope. When people are not dying, it's not causing accidents, but people are now saying that, well, how did you sell a car when you knew about this problem? So now you have to prove that they knew about the problem beforehand. So now, even though it's now after the fact, and apparently it's a design flaw, but now you're getting into kind of a murky waters. Can you sue a car manufacturer because they designed something wrong that
Well,
that doesn't actually? I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just saying that's where that argument is currently.
I'm sure you probably can request the money back if the item is defective in a way.
You got to be able to prove that, though, right? You got to be able to prove it, and I think that's what Paul Bryan is getting to. You got to be able to take that all the way to a court. You got to get a good lawyer that's going to actually look into something like that.
Yeah,
Right.
probably hire engineers and stuff like that to look at it and tear it apart.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, this, oh, yeah.
Are
I'll
you gonna
tell
buy
you.
one of those?
I'm very, very tempted, man.
I don't like the color, but this is still a beautiful machine right here.
Yeah, it's aged pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of these very standard colors. I like the the rare colors, the yellows and stuff like that, oranges and stuff like that.
Yeah.
To me, if you're gonna buy a supercar, it has to be exclusive, right?
Hmm.
But you know what? I will say the Audi R8 is the one supercar besides the Ford GT that looks halfway decent in white. Not many of them can pull it off, but the Ford GT and the Audi R8 for some reason can pull off white.
You know, I would say it for me personally. I would say it depends on the white. If it's regular plain white, it's kind of bland. But if it's snow white, then yeah, now you're talking a completely different ballgame.
Yeah, Porsche has something called crayon. It's a very interesting color too.
Mike, I think I know what you're referring to.
Yeah, it seems to come on the 911 GTSs. I think that comes on the GTS crayon is what they call
Yeah.
it. It's a really nice color. You don't really see too many of those around.
Yeah, it's kind of like the all right, like the current GT2 RS, that powder blue, how it just kind of has that glow to it,
Mhm.
like that white has that same glow to it.
Yeah. So it sounds to me like it's a pearl white. Could be.
I don't I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's not a standard white that you get on a Nissan Sentra or something like that. This is like a distinctive sort of white that is when it hits the sunlight, it kind of sparkles and things like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is really flat. I know that they have a white called Suzuka
Hmm.
gray. I think that's what they call it, Suzuka gray, Audi. But it's really white. It looks white, but it's actually called Suzuka, I think.
With the R8, me personally, I've always preferred those side blades in carbon fiber.
Yeah, tri-blades. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what they were thinking when they designed that. That always bothered me. I never understood why it had to be a different color, and why wasn't it made in carbon fiber, like you said, carbon fiber color. But I mean, you can get it wrapped in carbon fiber, but then you're kind of faking funk.
Well, two things, Mike. Number one, 4.2 or the V10. That's number one. Number two, make sure you talk about the Escalade and the Chevrolet Suburban and Tahoe. Big changes coming up with them.
Well, for me personally, 10 is more than 8, so I always go with the V10.
Okay, so and the reason why I asked is because I'm not sure. I really haven't followed the R8 too closely, but curious to see if there were any reliability issues. I know the 4.2 is something that Audi's had in their arsenal for quite a while. The V10 engine obviously is a newer, even though it's not new per se. I mean, it is a newer model. I mean, a newer power plant. In comparison to the 8-cylinder. So
Yes
just
and
wondering if
no.
there's any reliability concerns or anything like that.
It's not. It's actually not a new engine. It's actually a Lambo motor. It was new to Audi. That was one of the first motors that the Volkswagen Group took from one company and gave it to another company. So that motor is new to Audi, but that was not a new motor at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the same engine as the Huracan or something like that.
It's the same exact engine.
Yeah. The V8, to answer your question, Triz, the V8 in that Audi configuration is actually still a formidable piece of engineering, man. It's a supercar to me at the end of the day. Whether it has a V8 or a V10, it's still a supercar. It drives like one, it fits like one, and it looks like one. To
In
me,
fact,
it's the best bang for the buck that you can get in terms of rear engine.
in fact, you said the Huracan. It's actually the motor that came out of the Gallardo. Yeah, so it's not a new motor at all.
Well, it's a different variation of the one that came in the Gallardo.
Right.
They got better over time.
Yeah.
There were different what do you call it? Different versions to it. Because even the 2004 Gallardo, supercar as it may be, is actually considerably slower than the TTRS, right? But it's the novelty of having a Lambo. But you do pay the Lambo tax on those if you don't maintain it, because that thing, one, it has transmission issues. That's what it's notorious for, and number two, those it does have, I think, cylinder issues on the V10. If you don't take care of it, that's why a lot of them go for cheap. On actually, let's look them up right now.
And I know they tuned the ECU a bit, so I if memory serves correct, in the R8 it makes about 50 less horsepower than it does in the Lambo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mike,
Yes, sir.
totally unrelated. I was scrolling through my Kodi last night, and I finally got a chance to watch Joker.
What's your take on that?
Brilliant movie.
Oh yeah,
Brilliant.
absolutely. They hit the nail on the head with that.
Absolutely brilliant movie. And for me, best line out of the entire movie, when he writes in his little diary, he says, "The funny thing about having mental illness, everyone expects you to act as if you don't have it." Brilliant film.
Yeah, it was a red pill movie. Very much red pill. I'm surprised they got away with it in the way that they did.
Totally.
I know there was a lot of pushback from the alternative movements, but I think Joaquin Phoenix blew that thing right out the water.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I'm looking at these Lambos, man, and I know at one point they were going for about 60K, but those are pretty beat ones. So yeah, I think, and this is just me thinking out loud, I think what's going to happen when the C8s drop next summer, fully on the market, you're going to see the prices on these things go down tremendously as people try to get out of them, or just the disruption from the C8 itself is going to drive the value down at least 10%, 10 to 20%. Because it won't be the business anymore. It just be one of those things that GM has a market disruptor in the same way that Honda Acura did with the NSX.
Yeah. So far, we have one. So far we have one credible witness, Randy Popst, and he, they gave it to him, and he broke it down. Randy Popst's resume speaks for itself, and it's starting to look as if GM might have gotten it right. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, initially when we looked at it, I mean, that thing on the track was looking a little tail happy there. So like, I don't know, man. That either it's the driver or it's the pre-production vehicle, but that thing did not look good on the track
at all.
I mean, the AMG GTR was actually doing very well on the track on the same, on the same video. So
yeah,
I don't know, man.
That's what I'm saying. We'll see. We'll see. When they give it, when they give them out, and people can take them to the Nürburgring, to Spa, to Monza, to Fuji and Suzuka. And then we'll see. Then we'll see what it is. But that pre-production version was on the Nürburgring, and it was looking pretty sad.
Yeah. Somebody didn't lace up them checkers pretty well. That thing was dancing all over the place, man. I was sure what was going on with this. I don't know. But I've been seeing a lot of articles come up lately about the C8 already being sold out. I think we talked about that a month or so ago. I was at the dealership. They told me that the car was sold out and that, you should look at a C7. I said, I don't want no fucking C7. But look at
they can't give them away.
Well, yeah, they had a dozen C7s on the lot at just one location, brand new. They've been sitting there for months. Nobody wants
buying them. But Mike, it gets worse because I don't remember if I sent you the video. So GM, as they do every year, they were gonna idle the plant for 2 weeks for maintenance. When the plant reopened, they had to finish building the last of the 2019s of the C7s. Once they finished building them, they were gonna idle the plant again for a full month to retool the factory to build the C8, and then they could finally start building the C8s. Now the strike totally threw that timeline off. So they were saying that after they finished building the C7s and they idle the plant for the full month, and then they can finally start building the C8s, they were saying that they may not actually start production on the C8s until the end of December, if not January.
Yeah, I was told it's the end of January that the production starts again.
There it is.
Yeah, and that you won't see the batches from January until April.
But see, I like to look at it from this perspective, right? So, say you're you're a prospective car buyer and you're contemplating, a Corvette C8, and you're like, okay, well, it's not going to be available at the time frame that I wanted because I didn't pre-order it, so it'd be quite a while before I get my hands on one. And you start looking at the C7. Hey, yes, the C7 has some very attractive prices, but here's the thing. If you look at it from, maybe it's a financial issue as well. You're like, well, the C8, is going to be, a little bit more money, maybe out of my budget. But if you look at the amount of money that you would be paying for a C7, let's just say that you're going to finance, right? And you finance, and you say, okay, if I'm paying X amount of money per month, if you put away that amount of money per month that you would be spending on a C7, if you're financing, by the time the actual C8 is available to the mainstream public, you'll have the money to actually put as a down payment additionally to get the actual maybe get the monthly payments where it's more manageable for you. So I think some people are even thinking about it from that perspective. Like, well, wait a minute, I can actually see myself in this C8 brand new. So I don't know.
Those cars are being marked up. They're being marked. No, I said those cars are being marked up considerably.
Well, I mean, like the initial batch obviously going to be marked up. Like what I foresee is that if you haven't pre-ordered a C8 Corvette and you want to get one, you know, at a reasonable price, you're probably going to be looking at the probably fall of next year.
Yeah, but the thing about pre-ordering a car, to my knowledge and my experience, when you pre-order a vehicle, your purchase price is locked in unless you totally back out.
Well, I'm not talking about the people that pre-ordered it per se. So say, okay, so we have the people that pre-ordered the vehicle, right? So after they get their vehicles, then it's going to be everybody else trying to get in there and get their C8 Corvette, and then they're not going to be able to keep them on the lot. Those people that's buying them after this initial batch, they're going to be experiencing that dealer markup because they're going to be hard to come by, you know, at that point. So once that actual initial fervor wears down, especially during the summer, everybody gonna have their C8 over the summer. Go Vegas Strip, you're gonna see C8s up and down Vegas Strip. I guarantee you. You know how they do. You know, and look, and you know they're gonna have the top off. You know, it comes with the removable, you know, the little T-top. They're gonna have the top off. They're gonna be stunned. They're gonna have their arm out the window. They're gonna be going back. You're gonna see the same people up and down the strip, back and forth, trying to get seen. That's what they're gonna be doing.
You know what's gonna happen is you're gonna see a lot of them salvaged too, because a lot of these momos out here, these guys, man, they like to, you know, do burnouts at the light, coming out of Cars and Coffee. That thing is gonna be trashed. You'll probably see Doug DeMero or Savage Geese or somebody like that try to restore it.
Savage Geese. Dude, I love Savage Geese. He has some good content.
Yeah, I love the whole new car community, man, on YouTube, man.
Yeah, man.
I think that they're changing the game. You know, Motor Trend, Motor Trend, the rest of these guys can't. They can't hold a candlestick to.
Whoa! Hold on, Mike. Go back to that Porsche, man.
What about it?
How many miles was on that Porsche for 59,000?
58,000.
Oh, okay.
It's a 5-speed automatic.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's automatic too. Okay.
What's up, fam?
Yo, what's going on, Ty City, man? What did you do?
Yo, what I missed, man? I'm ashamed to tell y'all where I was at, man. God damn.
Wait, Ty City, you were at the Tesla dealer putting down money on your Tesla Roadster.
That's time, man. That's in. You know what, man? I'm looking at the Tesla truck, bro. Damn, man, I don't think they're gonna put it out, bro. I just got that feeling, man. They're not gonna put it out, bro.
Ty City, they done got too much hype. They done got people pre-ordering it. They putting that Tesla truck out.
I don't think they're gonna. Hey, listen, it's not, bro. This is just me thinking, man, because they have to have a crumble zone in it. It's not gonna pass safety regulations, man.
Well, it's already not gonna pass in Europe. That's already been established. So they're
really?
like, yeah, to release it in Europe, they're gonna have to modify it. You know, Europe has some pretty strict standards, you know.
Yeah, and it's just a few more days. It's not gonna come out. I know it sounds messed up to say it, but I don't think it's gonna come out, man.
Well, I mean, Elon is not one to back down. I mean, he runs SpaceX, so he's one to put his money where his mouth is. I think they're gonna do whatever they need to do in order to get it past inspection.
Yeah.
Yeah, the response is too strong. It's like you don't want to lose this momentum.
No, he's not.
You got so much momentum. The response is so strong. The public wants it. If Elon Musk doesn't put this out, his shareholders for Tesla is going to be at his neck.
Well, there's a military application behind it, so the fact that it's durable enough to take a sledgehammer and whatnot. Department of Homeland Security may be looking at that saying, our border patrols are taking, flack from the cartels across the border. What can we do with this? So
Bingo.
If he can secure a deal with the government on those to replace the Ford Raptors,
he's gold.
He's already in. It's already in.
Another application. right? And this is where I think it's going. I see them. They're going to make an SUV version, even though they have the Tesla SUV already. They're going to make an SUV version of this truck, Cybertruck.
Well, it is an SUV.
Well, see,
I mean,
I don't think they're gonna get that. I don't think they're gonna be able to get that bulletproof glass off either.
Well, see, look at
It's a
but
few,
the thing
it's
about
a
it
few
is that
things that I don't think they're gonna get off, man. And I'm just.
Why do you say that? Why do you say bulletproof glass wouldn't get off?
It's a safety hazard.
Well, I mean, they put bulletproof glass on other vehicles.
Yeah, but those are commercial vehicles, though.
Yeah, well, it'd be a commercial application, right? I mean, nothing stopping it from being a commercial application.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you yeah, I hear you, but
well, I think Ty City's talking about people potentially being trapped. But I do see, if that car goes underwater, like you're gonna be like you have to really anticipate. Oh, I'm about to go in the water. Roll your windows down real quick before you. I mean, like,
oh shit! I'm about to go underwater. Right. Oh my god! I'm going underwater.
yeah.
Bro,
You go for the door latch.
Hey,
you
before
go
I
water
come to
with that Cybertruck, you're done.
That thing's heavy. That's not no light truck. So if it goes down, it's going down almost instantly.
Yeah, concrete feet. I'm cool, bro.
But you know what though? But the application I see for the actual the full length, I mean like the full tailgate area SUV application would be for senators and like dignitaries, whatever, riding around, because they normally throw them in a suburban or a Tahoe, and they ride around the city, ride around that Cybertruck. At least they have some enhanced security.
Oh no, there's already tonneau covers and stuff like that being developed for it.
Really?
Oh yeah, and that whole sleeping in your car thing, they got all that covered too.
Yeah, it's already covered. They got there's a camper that goes with it. Let's see if I can pull it up.
Yeah, no, I saw that. To me, it's hideous looking, but it is what it is.
Paul Bryant, you gotta embrace it. It's the look of the future, man.
I hear you. I don't like it, and I refuse to embrace it. That thing is hideous looking. It's hideous. I mean, hey, listen.
I don't think it's hideous.
It's still 10 times better than the Pontiac Aztec, but I think it's hideous looking.
Okay, let me ask you this. Real quick. Cybertruck versus Rivian truck. Which one?
Cybertruck versus which?
Cybertruck.
Rivian every day. It's a much better looking vehicle.
Okay, that camp cyber camper, that is ugly.
Well, I mean,
I'm sure it's practical. But it's ugly.
This is Elon Musk's Aztec.
Yeah, it is, man.
Every company seems to go through this sort of issue where they have this sort of design crisis.
I don't think it's a design crisis.
Dude, this is not an attractive looking vehicle. This is hideous.
No, it's industrialized. It's an industrial sort of vehicle, but it makes sense if it's going to be used for commercial purposes. But from a from a civilian standpoint, this is it's like buying an old Humvee.
Dude, I feel like this is the original Blade Runner from 1984.
Oh yeah.
No, it's legit.
So it has there been any commentary on the rear seat headroom, because that would be a concern of mine, because the way the actual see how it sloped,
right?
Well, if you look at Marquise Brownlee's video, they were all in it 6 deep, so they didn't seem to have too many problems with it.
Okay.
Yeah, they said it was in there 6 deep, and it's 3 up front, 3 back.
Now my question also, that tailgate that extends out as a ramp, is that something that's factory?
Yeah, that's factory.
Yeah, that's factory.
What's the weight capacity on that? Can you, because I said they got a dirt bike up there, but can you put a full size street bike? Like a 500 pound 450-pound street bike up on there.
Yeah. That bike up there is probably about 500 pounds. That's
no, that's a dirt bike. That dirt bike probably about.
It's an electric bike, and that's batteries with.
Oh, that's an electric bike.
Yeah, on their show when they did it, they brought a battery power Tesla ATV.
Yep.
Nice. Okay.
The reason why it's in the back is because it charges while the vehicle is driving.
No way.
Yeah.
Way.
Yeah, but that ATV was a electrified Raptor, Yamaha Raptor.
Yeah.
Dude,
See, look at
Elon.
Elon
is changing the game.
There's Paul Bryant coming around.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I appreciate the tech behind it. I still think it looks hideous, but I mean, dude, this is something I would expect to see from freaking Buck Rogers in the 25th century, which came out on TV in 1980.
This is what I envisioned for like from Lamborghini.
Yo, bite your tongue.
I think you're referring to like the edgy design.
Oh yeah.
Oh, speaking of SUVs, Ferrari SUV. Anybody?
No, they vowed not to do it. They said that they're a car company. They're not ever going to do it.
No. The news this week
is
that Ferrari. Yes.
Oh, no.
Is it gonna be a crossover?
Yep. No
way, it was a matter of time that they have to do it now.
No,
because they have to do it. It's a money thing.
Well, I heard they were starting a new company.
It was a concept.
Now, from what I understand is that I think they're going to be using either a V. Oh, so they're making a SUV Ferrari, and they're making a V6. Potentially, they're going to bring back the Dino nameplate, so it's going to be like kind of a Ferrari sub brand.
Wait. You mean Dino, not Dino, Dino.
Dino. Okay, excuse me, Dino.
But man, maybe it was Aston Martin that said they wasn't going to do it.
No, it was Ferrari that said they wasn't. It was Ferrari.
Yeah, that shit was so tough too. It was tough when they put it out there, but it's like, nah, we make cars.
Well, because Ferrari at the time they didn't have Fiat buying Chrysler, but then the ideas came out that because the Jeep SRT8 was so fast and was practically the fastest truck on the market, all you would have to do is rebrand it as a Ferrari and sell it for fucking $500,000. And the idiots would sit there and eat it up.
Yeah,
the idiots would eat it up. They wouldn't know the difference.
Yeah. And they will find the market in America. It'll never sell in Europe, but it will sell in America.
Damn, man. I remember reading that.
Huh?
I think they put it out right around the time who came out with the SUV, and then Ferrari was like, they just made it look so weak that they was making a SUV, bro.
I think it was Lamborghini when Lamborghini had the concept drawing come out.
For the Euros, right.
Yeah. And Ferrari
was like, look at these lames. That shit was tough, bro. That press release was hard, dog.
You know what though? I said it back then. When Ferrari made that statement, I said, "Watch." I knew they was gonna have to look. Trust me, it's no way. Especially now, it's cars. These car companies gonna have to get real creative because people are not as big on buying cars anymore. So it's like the market. So basically, you have a situation where the actual market growth is starting to slow down. The market is still growing because there's still more people being born every day, but the percentage of people that actually feel like they got to own their own cars is diminishing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't think it's a middle no more, bro. You either get a small car or like a mid full size car.
Dude, those wheels are beautiful.
That whole car is beautiful.
That color and that
the entire car.
The 997 is the coldest, bro. It's the coldest.
I don't know. I'm still partial to the current generation GT2 RS.
Whoa. Did you say 997?
Yeah, 997 is a very balanced design. I understand what Ty City's saying. they hit the nail on the head with the design. It's not too big and bulky like the
Not.
991, and it's not too obnoxious looking like with the fried egg headlights of the 996. They really
And see, okay, so see the nose of that car? See how they push the nose out? The headlights are high, but it gives you that illusion that the car is lower in the front.
yeah.
Bro, they hit that. I like when they have that intake with the carbon fiber.
Yeah.
I see your point. Yeah.
You know what though? I like the newer Porsches, like the one that's coming out right now. I like the rear. I like the design of the lights in the back of the newer Porsches.
Yeah, the 991's are more of a GT car than it's a sports car now. It's really bulky.
Mm.
Bro, these motherfuckers is big on the street. When you see them on the street,
73 grand. Wow, that's pricey.
yeah, they
Yeah,
bottomed already. They not going lower than 63, 65.
Bro, 07 though.
On a couple tied for 55. So
The car is
Them
12 years
automatic.
old.
what's that, Tyson?
Them automatic.
You got a problem with only having one pedal?
Yeah, that ain't me.
That ain't.
Sometimes I look at somebody's car and I'll be like, this motherfucker automatic.
Hey, you know what, Ty? Hey, check this out.
God damn.
I said the same thing. Like, okay, I parked next to this Acura Integra with one of the four headlights, right?
Yeah.
They had it lowered. It was like all white Stormtrooper with the black rims. I'm like, okay. And so I'm getting out my car. I walk past it. I look inside, and I see the automatic stick shift. Oh, I was like, oh God, they killed it.
Why does this guy have the turbo all-wheel drive and he lives in Texas? It doesn't snow in Texas. What do you need a four-wheel drive car for?
Traction.
It snows in Dallas.
The back roads back here is wild.
Really?
It's some good driving over here.
Yeah, it snows in Dallas for one, and then number two, it snows in Wichita Falls too. And then
we get ice on the road.
Okay.
And then in Houston,
it turned into snow. I mean,
but it rained a lot though too.
Yeah. Paul Bryan, man, why you want to rain on the parade, man?
I'm not trying to rain on the parade.
You'd love to see me in a base Carrera, will you? Look at
this guy. I just, dude, Texas is the last state in the union I would ever expect to see snow.
Nah, it get down out here.
Okay. Right.
It's crazy because it'll snow one day and then it'll be 75 the next day.
See, that's insane to me. That's insane. I can't even wrap my head around that.
Well, in New York, it could be January and pop up 63 degrees one day, then right back down to 28 degrees.
This is also true.
See, what you need to look up is base model 06 Cayennes for Paul Bryant, because that's right up his alley.
Nah, Paul Bryant's he's the S4 guy, man. And he has an Android phone, so that should tell you everything.
Hey, y'all was talking about the C7 Corvette?
Yeah.
Hey, man, that Grand Sport, hey, that might be a deal. I seen somebody got a YouTube channel where they turbocharged the Grand Sport.
What? See, I wouldn't do that. I would just leave it as stock. I don't see the point in doing that.
The Grand Sport, well, it's not a Z06.
Well, but if you're gonna do all of that, you might as well just get a Z06.
Yeah.
Nah, bro. He
but
1200 horsepower, bro, on a base tune.
You put a turbo on that. You could push way past 650 horsepower easy. Like a stock LS motor. Well, I don't know about the 6.2 because those are 6.2s, but I know the 6.0s. A stock 6.0, you could put about 800 horsepower in it.
Well, that's what they were talking about on Savage Geese the other day. That where is the fine balance in the C7? And they said it was the Grand Sport. It's not too much power for the street, and all the power is usable. The thing is, when you stop pumping 800 horses and turbos and stuff like that, it's not. You're not going to be able to use it. It's not even usable at that point.
Right. Exactly. But which also comes back to the biggest knock against the Vet from sports car reviewers. They've been saying for years the car is difficult to drive fast unless you know how to race basically, you can't use all the power in the vet. It's an extremely difficult car to drive fast. Whereas all the European cars, they're very easy to drive fast. Now, with that said, I've said it before and I'll say it again. So far, we have one witness, and Randy Post has said from his day or 2 days with the C8, he said this is the first vet that's as easy to drive fast and hard as it is to drive the Europeans. So maybe they've gotten it right with the C8.
They got your Alcantara interior too, Mike.
Hey, you know what? Hey, Mike, what's the price? What's the price on those Grand Sports right now?
Well, we just looked it up earlier. They go from anywhere between 40 to 50 grand.
Damn, so they already in the 40s already.
Yeah, the more mileage on it is going to be cheaper.
Well, if you want one on 80,000 miles, you can get it for about 37.
Yeah, we saw one of those.
Oh,
Hey, but you know,
Mike.
but you laugh. Hey, but the LS motor, you could probably put another 100 miles, 100,000 on it.
Hey, Mike.
Yes, sir.
I have a car for you, Mike.
Okay.
The S15 Nissan Silvia.
Well, let me just talk to Ty City. I'll send him a text.
Not available for another 5 years.
Yeah.
Sure about that?
Actually, it'll be another two years. I think 98 is when they started the S15.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
Yeah, they're not available yet. But dang,
You know
bro,
what
the
is, though?
JDM market is hot. They actually storing those cars now
But
overseas and to import them whenever they do get legal.
there is a car that I do have access now in Germany, the R34. But in America, unless I'm mistaken, as of January 2020, the R34 will be road legal in the United States.
No, I believe
No,
they started in
R33. R33.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the R34s, they getting them over here, but they getting this midnight purple under some exclusion like limited edition car or something.
Okay,
That's how they importing the R34s right now.
okay.
And
Why does limited edition make a difference?
Yeah.
it's classified as a show car. That's why.
yeah, it's
okay.
exemption. It's exemptions that they allow for like certain homologation cars, just low production cars.
Okay.
You're not even supposed to be driving it.
Okay.
or like you could probably get like a what's it called?
Adam
the- was it-
LZ just got one on YouTube. Adam LZ,
Yep.
yeah, he just got one. It's
What,
that
There
what,
is-
what, but there was a Skyline R34 that had 400 horsepower. I forget what it was called. But they only made like what, like
Yeah, Nismo made those.
Are you talking about the Z-Team?
No, but
Yeah,
Ty,
yeah, the Z2, yeah.
Nismo is Nissan. Nismo is to Nissan what M is for BMW. That's it. Nismo is in house. That stands for
Right.
Nissan Motorsports. So Nissan,
yeah,
Right.
but
So
not
Nismo,
but what they did
it's
with
like
the
how they got
Skyline.
the Nismo edition R35s, the new ones. They got the Nismo versions. They make Nismo versions of the R34 and the R33.
right.
But the R34, the difference is that when they made the Nismo version, they considered it a separate model. So it's not like just like a trim level.
Right. Most of those went to race teams.
Yeah. So
They
you
had,
could probably import a Nismo.
Yeah,
if
they
you
had
can
an
afford it.
M1 block. They got a different casting on the block. That,
Okay. There is a guy, and you know what? I wish I had saved his I wish I saved his info. I was watching a video, and I want to say California. The dude has a warehouse. He literally has like 30 R34s. It's
no,
him.
it's people that got
him and
them
his
out here.
team. Yeah.
It's people who got them out here, but trust me, you got to know somebody that knows somebody to get it over here.
Gotcha. Oh, there is also another way. So, Canada, you
Canada's
can buy them in Canada. you can register the car in Canada and then just drive it across the border. The thing is, the car has to remain registered in Canada with Canadian tags and plates.
Is that just for that vehicle, or is that for all imported vehicles?
No, because
for-
Canada.
It's not going to pass an American dock. That's why you got to get it in through Canada.
Right, you
And-
have to
and-
actually go and buy the car from a Canadian car dealer as
Yeah.
a regular car. So what you would have to do is, you would have to have either a friend or a family member. They go buy the car in their name. They register it and insure it in their name. The car gets tags and plates, and then you can just drive. You can drive the car right across the border.
Yeah.
That's me all day. But
That-
see, the thing about
that-
it is that here's the thing with Canada. The reason why it's so desirable is because Canada, it's only a 10-year restriction as opposed to the 25-year. So what happens is that the cars that are 25 years or close to the 25 years here in America, they're sky high. But the cars that's 10 years out, the prices are still low because it's not that high American demand, even though people in Canada can get them. So you
they're
can
not
actually get a
as
good
strict.
deal.
They're not as strict either. They don't really enforce it like America does.
Yeah, and like Triz just said, they actually cost a whole lot less. So you can actually get you can get a S15 Sylvia, you can get a R33 Skyline, you can get a R34 Skyline for a whole lot less than what they would be on the market if you lived in America. A whole lot less.
I would buy Canadian market before I import. Actually, I check the Canadian market before I start looking overseas. That's what I do because, I mean, a car that's already imported, right? I went to go look at a FD RX-7, right? The guy had the car, and I'm sitting, I'm like, dang, something ain't right. The car was running. They had a standalone fuel management already on it, everything, and he brought the paperwork, and he just had the Japanese title. He didn't have the import paper. And yeah, like it's a it's a paperweight. The whole car is a paperweight. You can't you take that title to the DMV and they might confiscate the car.
Well,
Can you just export it and re-import it again once it hits 25?
Nah, they're not gonna play those games.
Nah, bro, you can't.
What usually
No.
happens is, well, okay, this is what usually happens, right? I know somebody who knows somebody. They give me a car over here. I then take a shell or a red car and I take those VINs and swap it over. So
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Nice, man.
This guy.
No, my bad.
guy.
But I mean, all it says is Nissan. Whenever they pull it up, it'll say Nissan. Then yeah. But I mean,
Dude,
let me
Ty
just say,
City, man, you gonna get this
R34
stream
running the
shut down,
streets of
man.
Texas right now. They running the streets of
Dude.
Texas.
The easy way, as I said, the easy way is if you have family or a friend who is a Canadian citizen, they buy the car in their name, they go to the DMV, they register it and they insure it in their name, and then you can just drive the car right across the border. But the car will always be registered in that person's name, insured in their name with Canadian tags and plates in their name. But that is the easy way right now to get an S15 Sylvia or a R34 Skyline across the border.
But you know
And that
what?
is 100% legal.
The R33 is really the legend in the lineup. That's the one.
No, it isn't. No, it is not. No,
the-
it is not. The R34 is not the
The
R33.
33 broke the Nuremberg
No, it
record.
isn't. No, it's
That was
not.
the 33.
Bro, no, it's not. It's the R34. In fact, the R34 GTR V Spec Nürburgring Edition only came in the R34. It never came in the R33. The legend is the R34, not the 33. The R33 had the RB26 jet motor. The R34 had the RB26 DE twin turbo motor.
Well, you know what? Ty City is on the market for a cappuccino anyway. He don't care about no sky.
Ouch.
What's that city at?
I gotta look this up because I remember it being. I always remember it being the R33.
R34, bro. The
Let,
legend
let Ty
is
City
the
confirm it. Let
R34.
Ty City confirm it because last time, the last hangout we had, man,
That's the
Lincoln,
color you
that
want
Lincoln,
too.
yeah, that
Yeah.
Lincoln was front wheel drive.
Bayside blue. Oh,
That's the color. You
Yeah,
either
so,
get that color or you get that dark charcoal gray.
yeah,
Those are two
Dude.
colors. The only two colors I want.
Triz, you're
Or
on
you're
it.
black.
You're on it. You're on it. The Bayside blue or that charcoal gray, that Nürburgring gray.
That's it. That's it. I don't want black. I don't want red.
Nope.
Nah, yeah, you got to get the Bayside blue.
Yeah, but
Unless
good
you
luck
get
getting one of those.
that yellow Nismo version.
Nah.
Yeah, I like
the 400R. No, thank you.
Yeah, but the blues, those blues, it's like I've been looking up importers and stuff like that, checking out prices and stuff like that. Like, man, they got the prices sky high on that blue color.
I love the R34 because it's not meant to be sexy. It's just like it's just meant to like it's, you know what I'm saying? It's
Ty,
just aggressive. It's just
Dude,
me. It's like
what are you talking
Ty,
about?
It's sexy, Ty. It's sexy.
No, I mean it's sexy, but it's not sleek. It's just not like the R34 is just not like it's not meant to be pretty.
What?
But honestly, I'd rather have the R33. R33 is my car. That's
I like the R34. I like the R34.
I think what Ty City is saying is that it's not meant to have any sort of sex appeal to it. It's just
the Sylvia that came out, the S15 was beautiful. That car is beautiful.
I think they're both beautiful.
Hey, but listen, you take that GTR. I wish Complex was here. If you had that blue GTR R34, you took it to West Covina, they would kill you for that car. I'm serious. No, I'm dead serious. You take that to West Covina, you're dead.
Dude, this is a beautiful car. The S15 Sylvia.
Man,
this is a beautiful car.
Now,
the SR20 motor. The SR, in fact, I believe it was the SR20 DE twin turbo.
DE Raptor?
Okay, now see this right here. This one right here is the 200SX is Australia and Europe. They call it. That's what they call it there. Actually, you can see the license plate.
Right. Now, Zone, you've imported a JDM before, right?
I done it illegally. Why?
Oh,
allegedly.
No, I don't really care. I'll talk about it on here if you want me to, man.
When our channel gets shut down, you get to go over to
No, it really, hey, it's the way to go. It's the way to go.
Okay, well,
allegedly.
How we did it was we imported it as a race car.
If you did it.
We imported it as a race car, and we had the car stripped out the interior, and we imported it here. So it was just we stripped out the interior, then we reclassified the car as a race car. That's how we got it here.
Oh.
And then we also took out the motor too, so it was a rolling chassis. And then we probably imported maybe a couple hundred cars. And then we had all the parts put in a 40-foot container, have it shifted here.
And this is all alleged. If he actually did this, he would be deeply regretful.
No.
Wait.
Here's the thing. I paid $500,000 in
you can't import a car in pieces.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yeah.
That is.
But not for the purposes of defrauding U.S. Customs, because we would never condone it.
It's gonna be parts.
We would
you
never
gotta
condone
send the title through the mail.
You're still not getting it though. Allegedly.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can do it that way. That's how a lot of people import like the Civic type bars and the Integra type bars and stuff like that.
Yeah,
for legitimate racing purposes, not to circumvent.
This is the closest thing
U.S.
that
Customs
he's gonna get to his Sylvia. So.
I mean, shoot, people drive out in Florida, Texas. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Florida, down there in Miami, you see everything, bro. Orlando, Florida, but the thing with Florida is they get titles for those cars?
How is
Yeah,
that?
because
I don't know. I really don't know. All those
Because
cars
it's so
have
much. It's so
license
much
plates and
corrupt
shit.
nonsense going on in Florida. They got all kind of stuff coming in illegally in Florida.
Yeah, dude.
so what they do
Is
is
it the RICO law or the Tie City law?
I ain't got no law.
what they do is they get titles from private title people. That's how they get the title. It's not directly from DMV, and that's how they get the tags and everything.
Mm.
¿Cómo está con todos? ¿Cómo está con todos?
Go.
What's going on, Nicole?
Hey,
¿Cómo
Nagone is
está?
in the
¿Cómo
building.
está? Me gusta que pasó ayer en
Qué fue?
Señor
¿Qué fue?
Fantástico.
Mm.
Me gusta mucho.
Fantastic. Fantastic had a panel with this black
Mucho.
woman from Medellin on there. I was like, dang.
Medellin.
Eat this
Me
one
gusta
up.
mucho. Me gusta.
Yeah, they'll call
Una grita maravillosa.
Yeah, they'll call
Me gusta mucho. Me gusta mucho.
Nagone got jokes.
Un grande
Okay.
problema para Manosphere, ¿verdad? ¿Verdad?
Ah,
Yeah, that shit was
verdad,
awesome, baby.
Verdad. But you know,
Where's
personally,
Mr.
I
Fantastic,
stay away
man?
from it.
I gotta throw down some ice for this nice nigga. Yeah, that was totally live. I was loving that. So
God.
and that hurt a lot of folks. You know, it hurt some people. I enjoyed the pain. I enjoyed hearing it. There was a groan in the chat, like, ooh, she came out.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this body kit, man. I'm not a big fan of the body kit at all, man. I don't know why they put this type of stuff on it.
No, I don't like it at all. This car to me is beautiful the way it is. It doesn't need any of that body kit at all.
Well,
that shit crazy. I wasn't doing nothing like that.
Well, I mean, in all fairness, right? We don't see it too often over here, but think about in Japan where everybody and their mama had one. You kind of want it to look a little bit different.
Want that white one.
Dude,
Bro, it's a black one here in Dallas that looks mint. I'm talking about mint. And it's got an RB motor in it with a stupid setup in it.
RB motor, really?
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, that shit crazy. That ain't for everybody. You ain't gonna get
Tie City edition.
Yep.
That's me right there. That's the spec R.
Yeah. That Tie City edition.
Don't do me like that, man. Don't do me like that, fam. Come on, man.
That is the Tie City edition.
A low life and that whatever.
Nah, that ain't me, bro.
That is Tie City all day, every day.
Hey, what car are we talking about right now?
The
You're talking about random cars, man. For the time
Sylvia.
Yeah, the
Nah,
Sylvia.
that's nuts, bro. That ain't me, fam.
Oh,
That is you every day, all day.
Nah, that ain't me, bro.
I
I like a nice
like
camera,
it.
but goddamn, man, that camera nasty. That's more me right there. That's more me right
It's the
there.
same, man. It's the same.
No, it's not.
I mean, but Tie City, let's be honest. Tie City, so you're a big fan of that extreme camber?
No, I don't like the camera. I like the stay. I like everything to be fitted.
Okay. There go that Datsun.
260Z. See, this brings me back to my childhood.
Hey, that's when cars were cars, man. You're never gonna find something like that again.
Sir.
Never gonna be like that again.
My uncle, one of my uncles had this car, 5-speed manual, loved it.
And you know what?
260.
I like those cars when they have the fender mounted mirrors.
Oh, that's a JDM thing.
Yo, it's
I love
actually better if you ever driven in a car that had the side view mirrors on the fenders.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't see how.
Oh man, it's in your a line of vision through the windshield.
Okay, okay. I'm not. I won't knock it because I've never done it, so I don't know.
Yeah, but see, in New York, man, they'll come by, man, a bike and one of those couriers, those bikers come by and smash your mirror real quick.
Flex this in the background.
Oh man.
Nah, but it's got the skinny bumpers on it too, man.
This go. Yeah, this go. This is cold right here, man. That's Tie City's type of stuff, man.
Yeah, that's me right there.
A rat rod.
A rat rod.
Yeah, I like the rat.
Nah, that's not a rat rod. That's not a
rascal.
rat rod. It don't got enough rust on it.
Yeah, it's shot before you get in there. So,
Yo, you know what I've been seeing lately? Cars look like that, then they pop the hood. There's not a speck of dirt under there. It's like, god damn.
Yeah, a rat rod.
Oh yeah, that engine's gonna be immaculate. That's where it's at.
Well, with the rat rod, it's actually a patina. So what they do is they put some type of acidic solution or something like that to give it that color. It's not real, like a real rat rod is not really rusted.
No, trust me, these motherfuckers be rusty. It's real rusty. Hey, it be real rusty with these dashes, bro. Real talk.
Yeah, I've seen it with rat rods. And they're cool. They're cool if you really haven't maxed out right. But
Yeah,
but like I said, it's an acquired taste. Not a lot of people like them. Some do.
What's going on, Complex?
Yo, what up, everyone?
Complex.
Oh, Complex. I was telling the panel we was looking at the R34s, and I said if you tried to take a blue R34 and drive around West Covina, you'll come up missing.
Oh shit. Yeah. Nah, man. Well, wait, R34?
Yeah, a R34 in West Covina, they'll kill you for that car. A blue one.
A blue one? Yeah, that blue one is like the iconic one, man. The blue one is
the Bayside blue.
Yeah, that's the one right there.
They just brought it back for the new GTRs.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not. It's not the same.
Yeah.
It don't hit on there.
Nah.
Like the liquid on it.
Nah, the new GTRs, man. Matte black is what hits on those things, man. Those things just look scary as hell.
Yeah. I like the white with the gray accent. That's what I like on the
Yeah, the white. I mean, just gonna be traditional.
Windows.
It's traditional. It's traditional Nismo colors, dude. Whether it's white, black, or red. Yeah, either one of those three, dude.
Limo.
Super Trish.
What's good?
Trish.
Yeah.
All right. I think Tie City needs his ambient. He needs a quick
Ouch.
Hey, Paul. Hey, 75% tint on the windshield.
Oh my God! On the windshield.
That's clean.
Listen, hold up.
Oh my God!
If I got a car like that, if I got an R34, R33, I'm fishbowling. I want everybody to see me in it. I want you to know.
Oh, here we go.
I'm going with this car.
Awesome.
Man, let me tell you something, bro. I love that car so much, but I'm able to say that the interior is not that tight, bro.
What, the GTR?
The GTR interior is not that tight, bro.
No, it's not. It's garbage.
Yeah, it's not that tight, bro.
It's garbage. It's straight garbage.
Hey, it's still better than the Corvette, though. It's better than the Corvette. Even look at an R32 interior is better than a Corvette C7.
Bro, but the R32 is when nobody. Those cars wasn't made with the interior in mind, bro.
Yeah, but you know what? To be fair, when the R32 and the R33, even the R34, when those cars came out in the 80s and in the 90s, they look like typical Japanese cars. So you know what it is. They fit in for what those cars were. So you can't even judge them for what cars are now. Everything, car interiors now are like holding a freaking iPad sitting in a freaking leather sofa.
Okay? But I like the older interiors though.
Me too.
But I don't like too much shit going on.
The GTR interior is the current Nissan GTR, the current one that's out right now. That interior to me is garbage.
No, that interior, I admit it. I don't like the interior.
Yeah, but why does Paul Bryan give American car manufacturers such poor ratings on the interior? If you're okay with the sparse interior of a Japanese JDM car.
Huh.
No, but you know what? See, the thing is this: they were sparse, in the 80s and 90s, Japanese automotive interior design, they were sparse, but they still looked better than the freaking old grandma sofa interiors.
But you know what?
American
I gotta
cars.
give you a little bit of pushback because the interior on the 3000 GT and that 4th gen Supra those are awesome interior.
I didn't say that they were bad. All I said was you can't look at those interiors of Japanese cars from the 80s and 90s and hold them to the same standard as, say, cars from now, because even American car interiors from now, actually, you know what? When I think about it, even American car interiors from now are probably in the same boat or still a little bit below Japanese car interiors from the 80s and early 90s.
But it's okay for JDM to have it, but not for Americans to have it.
Well, you know what? The build quality was better, and they looked better. They even looked better. So if you look at American automotive interiors from the 80s and 90s, they were straight garbage. They were horrible. They had panel gaps so big that you could take your foot and just step right through them. The squeaks and the rattles, the hard fake plastics, the fake chrome trim that wasn't even really chrome.
Yeah, but Paul, man, you start to come off like a little bit of a car bigot, man.
Behavior, man.
Are you saying that I don't like American cars? No, I don't. I think that they're trash.
Well,
that does come through, Paul. That does come through.
Yeah.
Tell us how you really feel, Paul.
How do I really feel?
No, remind us.
He sits in his Berlin Bratwurst Tower, you know.
Dog, hey, but when we broke down the interior on that Shelby Mustang and that base Mustang, bro, I was out, bro. I gave up, bro. You don't get no argument from me. The $100,000, was it the $80,000 Mustang and the $26,000 Mustang? They should not be the same on the inside. Yeah, they should not be the same on the inside. But I mean, no, we looking at how many of those Challengers got sold?
I don't know.
I'm talking about tons of these goddamn bro. There's not a soft point in the interior.
No,
the Challenger has been a very successful car, man, for Doc.
That's what I'm saying. Why would they start to focus on the interior now?
And it's going to drive up the price of the car. So why gold plate the interior and all that when people are not really caring about that? They really are kind of feeling, more of a performance angle for American performance. They like the straight line kind of power they get in the car. So they don't have to gold plate it on the inside. They don't need to.
Well, a lot of Americans really, they just don't have a distinguished palette when it comes to vehicle interiors anyway. So like even if you gave them an option of two cars, same price, one had a nice interior, one had a hard plastic interior, a lot of Americans wouldn't even know what the difference was.
Okay,
I'm being honest.
Americans don't have style. They still rock Wranglers and flannel shirts, man.
Exactly. And why would somebody buy a Challenger in the first place? What's the reason to buy a Challenger?
No, because you want a big V8.
You want a big V8. You want a big V8.
Oh, come on, dog.
You want a big V8 that rumbles down the highway.
I'm not buying it, bro. It's like 280 horsepower V8.
No, it's like 485 horsepower.
Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna have to go pull up some dyno videos.
Man.
No, I don't know about the dyno. I'm saying the manufacturer rated 485 horsepower. I'm talking about for the 6.4. Like 485 horsepower.
That's not the V8 that everybody got, though, man. Come on, dog.
Well, most people.
Challenger, I'm getting a 6.4. I don't care what anybody else doing.
Most of the people that I see Challengers that I see around here, that's exactly what they're buying, and they're putting the exhaust kits on them. That they're getting aftermarket from Mopar, if you will. And it's making all kind of sounds. The car sounding all fucking crazy, growling, all that shit, sounding crazy. And that's what people are buying the thing for. They ain't buying it for. They'll put money into buying aftermarket parts for the car to make the car sound more aggressive than what they care about on the inside of the car.
Well, hold on.
Right.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah.
Doesn't the Challenger? I don't know if it still does, but at some point, it had a bench seat in the front as an option.
What? They had a bench seat. I don't know because it's got the shifter on the floor.
Don't start
bench
doing
seat.
that.
He trolling. He trolling.
No, I'm serious.
He caught me slipping.
I'm serious. I think the Challenger.
Oh man.
Don't do it, Trill.
He's totally trolling, man.
A bench seat.
Oh, no.
That's funny. That's
I'm
funny.
serious, man. Hey, look it up.
Did it have lap belts? Did it have lap belts?
He gonna be slipping. I'm slipping on that one. I'm slipping.
Hey, did it have 3 on the tree?
Yeah.
Oh shit, he gonna be slipping. That was a good one.
No.
But nah, man.
He said 3 on the tree.
He
said 3 on the tree. Wow.
Bro, tree is chill, fam.
Dude, you went digging in the crates for that one. 3 on the tree. Dude, in my lifetime, I've only seen one car that had 3 on the tree.
What? Bro,
Because they
had 3 on the tree.
But dude, I grew up in the Northeast, not in the South.
Oh, okay.
You didn't see a lot of 3 on the tree in the Northeast, only if a person had a hot rod. So in my lifetime, I've only seen 3 on the tree.
Yeah, that's true. That's kind of true. That is kind of true.
No, they got one of them little knobs that go on the steering wheel, so you can turn it with one hand.
Oh yeah.
A suicide wheel.
Yeah.
Or it's called a suicide wheel.
That's lit. With the Bigfoot pedal, y'all tripping, fam. Y'all tripping, man.
Baker hoods.
What is that? Steve, I ain't going, man. I'm not going, bro.
Where you going?
Wait, time out.
I'm not going towards these, bro.
Mike, it says 2011, exactly where your cursor is right now. That 2011. Oh, damn. Lost it.
Okay. Let me go back now.
Right there. What? Yeah, right there. 2011 Dodge Challenger SRT8. That interior is the same interior from a freaking Chrysler 300C from like 05 or 06.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah. It's possible. Let me take a look because I SRT8. Yeah, it's close. It's pretty close.
You sell it. What? If you sold a shitload of them, why would you change it?
But, yeah, that's they're gonna do that. Yeah, I mean, like I said, they're selling that car more for more from a performance angle and
right.
Straight line kind of performance angle. That's kind of what they're selling, man. I mean, you're not, and plus the unit price for the car is cheap enough to where it's still affordable. They're not trying to, put all these ultra leather appointments and all this other crazy shit in there.
Wait. That steering wheel looked like it came out of PT Cruiser.
It may have. It may have. It may have. You laughing? Yeah. You laughing, but that shit may have shit.
No. Actually, no. I think that's the same steering wheel from a Dodge Nitro. Look up a Dodge Nitro interior.
Yo.
Hey, listen.
No. Look up Dodge Nitro. Look up Dodge Nitro steering wheel.
Dodge Nitro.
Dodge Nitro. That's that fake SUV little crossover crap.
Look up. Oh right, I remember the Dodge Nitro now.
How did
it's a little bit different.
Flow, man?
No. We gotta stop going so hard on American cars, man. That's what that level of race.
Hey, listen, guys. Okay, if you look at the average European high performance car, what are you paying for that? What are you paying for?
A whole lot more.
With the strike back.
What did you say?
You heard what I said. If you're going to buy a kind of a sport type of European sport car,
what a V8
sport type car.
What a V8.
Okay, what are you paying for?
With the tag team.
What are you paying for? Okay, when you look at the let's say the Chrysler or Dodge and all that, you know, their SRT line, and then you would going to take a look at Mercedes and their AMG line. What's the price differential between those cars?
About 30 grand.
I mean, you know, come on. I mean, we you know, let's be frank. Shout out to Let's Be Frank. Right. Let's be frank. But what are we really talking about? I mean, it's a huge price differential. It's a different game. Man. We just got to keep it real. I'm just being real about it.
You get what you pay for. You buy one of these type of cars, man. It goes pretty fast, but you know,
it's not badass. I'm just gonna tell you this. Okay.
Yeah, what is the European equivalent of a affordable V8 car?
There is no real equivalent to being affordable. You're paying a lot of money for that.
You're buying an Opel at that point.
No, if you're talking about a European V8, you're talking about something that's going to be performance, man. The Europeans don't waste engineering. Exactly right. They don't waste engineering acumen on a fucking economy V8. Like, the hell with that shit. If they're going to make a V8, that motherfucker's going to scream, and then you're going to pay some money for it.
Yeah, they don't have a Mercury Marauder over there.
And let me be frank. I had an SRT 300. I put a supercharger in there, put exhaust kit on that car, and for the overall price of that car and the performance you were getting out of it, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. It was short money.
Yeah, the only guy in New York with a SRT8 and no radar detection and no laser deflectors on the plate.
Who had that? I don't know. That wasn't me.
So was it you?
That radar detector was going off like crazy, and I was trying to keep my ass out of trouble, like, because you know up here in Westchester County in these areas, that's all they do is hunt for you. That's all they do is look for you.
They have nothing better.
That's all they do is hunt for you.
Nothing.
That's all they do. They're like,
well, okay.
Let's see who we can tag now.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell y'all what I seen the other day, and that motherfucker was looking mean. That what is it? The Camaro ZL1.
Camaro ZL1.
I think the
but it's DR.
No, he means
supercharger.
The ZL1.
Oh, the supercharger. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that car.
Yeah, that was just a Z06 with a supercharger on.
Bro, that car was a problem. That car was looking aggressive. I was like, damn.
That car was a problem. Straight line, that car was a problem.
CAMARO.
Yeah,
the Camaro had the same thing. They did that.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, listen, you put a charger in any 400 horsepower car, you're gonna get more. You're gonna get close to 200 horsepower out of that thing, and you're gonna put at least $140, $150 to the wheels extra on that when that bitch is in there. So. You know, and I'm not talking about the flywheel. I'm talking about the RWHP. So, you know, those cars are going to kick. They're going to kick hard. They're going to run hard.
Yeah, this one was a newer one though. It's the new body style.
Yeah,
it was aggressive, man. That car was just that blue one right there. That's one.
Yeah, Mike. I think it's 2018.
Look at that.
Oh no, there it is right there. ZL1.
Yeah, the problem with Ty City, he's fighting his inner Texas, man.
Bro, that
he's like, yo, that shit go hard, but I wouldn't drive one. Bullshit.
No. Hey. It ain't my thing, bro.
Oh yeah.
But wait a second. Y'all trying to put me onto the RS with the V8 in it. The base y'all try to give me the welfare Camaro, man. You trying to sell me on that, bro? I remember that.
It's the UBI version, not the welfare.
Yeah.
The UBI version.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I know y'all gonna get tight, but I thought that Camaro was looking kind of butter-laid as well. I kind of like that Camaro.
It's a butter-laid car. The thing is, they actually put money for it.
Is that the hood was carbon fiber on that one?
Nah.
Yeah, but see,
you
know what?
It was carbon fiber.
The problem is with that Camaro, It's like when you got you can get Corvettes for way cheaper.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
There's no argument.
That's what I'm talking about. Damn right.
I mean, this car right here, I don't know, man.
My only question is, why did GM put the entire rear end from this car on the C8 Vet?
I don't know.
Please explain that to me.
It's some bozos at GM. I'm gonna tell you that right now. They got some bozos up there.
See, it's got the Z06 engine.
Dude, that is the rear end of the new C8 Vet. Can someone please explain that to me?
It's called counting beans, Paul.
No, you think it's the exact same taillights?
Dude, look at it, bro. It's the same taillights, the same rear end as the C8 Vet.
See, I'm starting to see what y'all saying about Paul, because when I mentioned that Lotus had Toyota Corolla taillights, it wasn't a problem.
Huh?
No. Paul's an American car race. He's an American car racist.
Jesus Christ.
He's a racist. He's a racist.
He's a literal racist. He's a literal racist.
If it was up to him,
he's a racist.
All the Mustangs would go inside of Auschwitz or something like that.
Don't put American car in the Autobahn. In fact, he believes that should be segregated. They should have segregated lanes and shit.
Yeah. Right.
You have your own Autobahn over there.
Yeah,
He's a
racist. In fact, he actually believes that they should have actually separate gas stations for him, man.
Well, why does that Chevy have Chevy taillights?
Oh, man.
Nah, look, this one, it got the carbon fiber brakes on it.
Where do you see that?
This one got carbon brakes on it.
Oh, carbon brakes. I thought you said carbon fiber brakes.
No, I don't. I thought it had the carbon. The one I seen had carbon brakes on it.
Now, I think that hood is just carbon wrapped. I don't think it's actually carbon fiber.
No, I'm talking about the actual brakes.
Yeah. The brakes are an option. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the brakes are an option.
See that those prices are more like it. A Z01 in the 30s is more like it.
They don't look like the new ones though, bro. The new ones just look better.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I agree with Ty City on this, man. That they really nailed the front end on that.
The new ones, yes, the new ones look better, yeah. But I'm not paying
like
that much.
Whole different car, bro.
I'm not paying that much for no damn Camaro. Hey, you know what though? That front end don't look too much off from the front end on the new Charger.
You said that you wouldn't pay that much for a Z01?
I'm not paying that much for a Camaro, period. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it got the ZR1 engine in it. I'm not paying that much for a Camaro.
Yeah, you want some other stuff, Triz, man. You want some other stuff.
I know what Triz is talking about. I know he's talking about. You gonna pay 70, 75 grand for a car where with a V6 comes off the same goddamn line. I understand what he's talking about.
This car is actually set up for track use though. This one got a different suspension and everything.
I hear you.
Let's see how trackable that car is.
I hear you.
Randy Post already drove this on the track. I think at Button Willow, wherever it was at. He said it was dope. So
how much does the car weigh, man? How much does that car weigh? One more again.
3,700, I think.
That's still pretty heavy.
See,
to me, a real trackable car has got to be 3,100 pounds and below.
Yeah, but look, I'm looking at it like this, right? The SS, right? It's gonna cost you about what, 35, 38?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I think, and how much it has? What? How much horsepower the car having in?
455.
455. That's pretty good.
No, this one, it got the Z06 motor.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the SS. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
No, I'm talking about the SS. The SS.
Oh, yeah.
At that price range, that's about right. That's about right.
I think 55 is good.
Right. Yeah. At 455, let me tell you something. Here on the roads, you running hard. 455 under the hood, you running hard. You running hard. You put about 390 or so to the wheels. Maybe a little bit more. You running pretty hard out here. You running pretty hard. Yeah. I mean, you ain't knocking out the 911s and all that, but you.
That shit tough, bro.
Is that Thai City's body kit?
Hey, yeah, it ain't like the RS.
Actually, no. This is factory. Everything is factory. That's all factory.
The Z01 Camaro is a nice car. I'm not saying it's not a nice car. Would I take one? Yes, but I'm not paying $55,000 for a Camaro.
Keep in mind, Super Triz.
I hate this. I hate to say it, but I gotta agree with him. I'm gonna hate to have to say that, but I gotta agree with him on that. Unfortunately, I have to agree with him.
Keep in mind, Triz, that they knocked $20,000 off on rebate at the dealership, so you're not paying exactly $55,000 for them.
Okay, you got a $20,000 rebate. What are you talking about? I haven't heard that. For real?
Yes, it's up to $20,000 on these Z01s. They have to move. They have to make room for the C8s.
On the Z01. Oh, you're talking about the Z01. We're not talking about the Camaro, are we?
Yeah, the Camaro.
Yeah, Camaro.
The Z01. So we're talking about $20,000 off of that. Maybe so with the rebate because that brings it down. Brings down to 35. All right.
No, Nigone. This is the price after the price knockdown.
Bro, they nailed the front of that car, man.
Is that 55 after the price knockdown?
Yes.
I'm out though.
Yes. I'm out. Thank you. You
I don't think so. I think
I'm out though.
I think you get that in appreciation, anyways.
In appreciation, I don't know about that. I don't know.
Okay. Wait. So you're telling me you're gonna get the Z01 and you're gonna put it in the garage so it can appreciate.
Nah, man. I can't. But unfortunately, I gotta agree with Trish. I'm sorry that I don't want to agree. But
you're already up.
Yeah, he's right. He's right about that, man.
But he's talking about appreciation, like it's going to increase in value. But the reason,
that's what I'm saying. You bought it already. It's already appreciated.
Huh?
Nah.
Paul Bryant. Paul Bryant. You got them ambient left.
I'm not.
Whoa.
If you buy it, it's already marked down $20,000.
Thai City.
It's marked down the price that it should have been when it came out.
Thai City. It's ambient time, my friend.
Yeah, no, it's not. No, it's not.
The car has appreciated.
I'm with Thai City.
Wow.
I'm with Thai City on this. You can't go wrong with it with the rebate.
But I will. But my question is this:
Wait, it's got that red toe look in the front. Go back, Mike.
How much power does this car make?
650.
650 horsepower.
Look at the car.
That's a lot of power.
Yeah.
That is a lot of power. How
it's
heavy
a lot
is
of
this
power,
car?
but it's still a
Because
Camaro.
it looks heavy.
Now, actually, this car is substantially lighter than a GT500.
Okay, but how much does it weigh?
What is it, like 3,700 pounds?
Yeah, it's about 3,700.
Oh, that's not a track car.
Jesus Christ!
It's
not a track car. It's not
3,700 pounds.
That's not a track car.
It got a big supercharger in it.
I don't care. That's a damn Bentley Continental. Damn near weighs. So it's the same amount.
Yeah, it's not a track car.
And
that supercharger is going to be about 400 pounds in there.
A track car is 3,000 and under.
I'm not mad at it.
A track car, you got to be at least if you're gonna buy a production car, it's got to be 3,100 and below.
Yeah, bro. A track car is 3,000 and under.
3,100 pounds is still pretty. It's still got a tire around the middle, if you know what I'm saying. But it can run a little bit. Yeah, but a real track car, it's about 2,900 pounds, 2,800 pounds, that kind of.
Yeah, man.
All right.
3,800.
You're talking about 37, 3,800 pounds? Ain't no track
pig.
car.
Absolute pig.
Ain't no track.
Put all the lipstick on it you want.
Yeah, it's still a pig. It's still a pig.
It doesn't have lipstick on it, but it has a red toe hook. If that counts. It has
a red toe hook. You need that to pass tech.
Man, whatever, dude.
How much is the how much does the Supra weigh?
The new Supra? Oh, wait a minute. Hey,
the BMW Supra?
Well, you know what? You know what, Paul? I posted some footage. Ty City got to see it. Yeah, the track day from this weekend, I was out at Button Willow, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I caught footage of this shit. It was a Supra out there. It was walking a GT3, bro. I mean, it was gapping it, like it was eating it up, like it was eating up everything out there.
For real?
That's what I said.
Really?
I posted the video. I was like, Ty City, you gonna have to give me some answers, bro. Because I'm sold. That motherfucker.
Was it stock?
fast.
Was it stock? Was it stock?
No,
Or was that a race prepared car?
No, it wasn't a race car, but it was a track car. Somebody like got a Supra, and they're in the process of tracking it out.
But here's the problem with that, right?
The car went down, though, man. The car went down.
Yeah, but the Supra from the factory is already turbocharged, right? And we know how easy it is to extrapolate more power.
Dude, all the shit I was hearing.
How much does that car weigh? How much does the car weigh?
3,300.
3,300 pounds, nigga.
3,300 pounds.
And the motherfucker, he had stripped.
Did he take the seats out of it? With the seats
he
out
had
of
the
car?
interior stripped out of it. Yeah, he had the interior stripped out.
Okay, yeah,
really
that's
like
okay.
3,000
So that car was running about 2,800 pounds, 2,900
I'd
pounds.
rather have a ZL1, bro, with the 6-speed, bro.
I don't know.
Mike, you're gonna have to cue the
I'm
tape,
not taking
bro.
the Supra, bro.
I think you're gonna have to cue the tape, man.
Talk to him, Ty City.
It got a torque converter, bro. Come
Talk
on,
that
man.
Dude,
You know what?
kills it on the track. That's why.
Wait, what was that? What was that song?
The 8-speed transmission is the reason why it smokes it. That's the reason why. The gear ratios are the reason why it smokes it.
Well, the car broke down from the video I see.
No, the car didn't break down.
Well,
For whatever reason, he stopped in that corner and they threw a yellow up, but then he just got going. He left. So I don't know what happened.
Okay, number one, here's the problem. The Supras, they've already established the Supras are grossly underrated power output. They're really putting out like 400 and something at the wheel from the factory.
bro, we looking at
tell this to Ty City.
650 horsepower.
What's the car's rating from the what's the car rating in the what's they saying the car's rated?
335 or something like that.
No, that's what the manufacturer's saying. No.
What's the car's BHP? What's the car's BHP? What's the BHP?
Well, from the dyno test that I've seen for stock Supras, when they dyno it, it's putting out like 400 plus at the wheels.
It's putting out 400 plus at the rear wheel. We're not talking about the flywheel, right?
Wheel, yes,
at the rear wheel. So that car's at least rated 500 horsepower.
Now to add on to what Nagone just said, if it's putting out 400 at the wheels, it's making close to 500.
Close to 5
at
the race, from the motor. Now, if the car weighs, if the car weighs
33, I think that's what they said.
Right. So if the car weighs 600 pounds less than the Camaro, that 600 pounds less is more of an advantage than the extra 100 horsepower.
Absolutely. That's a huge advantage.
Because the number one enemy of performance is weight.
Say it again.
The number one enemy of performance is weight.
Also,
600-pound weight advantage totally negates being
that's huge. That's huge.
Also, I think the Supra has a shorter overall length and wheelbase, so it's probably gonna handle a lot better than the Camaro.
Well, if it's got a shorter wheelbase, it's going to get around. It's going to get around the curves a lot faster.
Yeah, but I thought we were talking about the GT3 here. I thought we were talking about
and its weight.
Mike, I'm saying on the video that I got, there is a Supra walking away from a GT3. That's why I said Ty City needs to explain this one.
I don't have to explain it, bro. Bro, listen, fam. I'm not going.
I'm listening. All ears over here, fam. All ears, bro.
I'm not going, bro.
Hating on that Supra, man.
The ambient is ready
I just
for
think
you.
it could be better.
The ambient is ready for you, Triz.
That's all you got to say, Ty City?
Cue up the ambient.
I said cue up the tape, man. Y'all can see it for yourselves.
Okay.
Yeah, cue that tape up, man. Cue that bad boy up real quick.
Bring up that beautiful beam footage.
Bring on that beautiful beam footage, man.
Hey, Mike, it's hold on. It's the second. It's the part 2. It's the part 2 track day video.
Yeah, it has
Is that on your
Tri-City.
channel, or is that where's the link?
I'm still sticking with my original thesis that the Super should be just as good as the GTR.
It may be. But based on this, it very well may be.
Man, look. We need to watch the tape and see that motherfucker just blasting off.
So complex. So you're saying this bad boy just chewed on it.
Look, it walked a goddamn GT3. Like you can see it. You can see it. You can see it. Dude, they come around the horseshoe. They come around the horseshoe. They get down the straight, and I'm telling you, he starts gapping this dude like it's nothing.
No, that's not good.
That doesn't even sound possible.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, if you were there and if you saw it, and if you had,
dude, not only that, I got it on tape, and I asked Ty City to explain it to me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I've seen the Super go down, and I was like, I don't think it's ready for the track. That's what I see.
So where's this link at?
I posted. Look on the community tab on the Brain Trust. It's part 2.
Okay. Part 2. Okay.
That's the one right there.
Tri-City edition.
So now we get to see the Supra overheat the torque converter, go into limp mode.
Hey, that's you speculating at this point. Hey, Mike, you gotta go all the way back. You gotta go all the way back to the beginning.
Why is that?
Because it's right at the beginning. I'm walking up to the.
Hey, Complex gonna flag you.
That's why I was trying to skip past it. I don't want to get flagged.
Complex.
You want you know? Oh, okay. Well, it's actually literally at the very beginning, right when I got to the fence, and you see the cars rolling through.
Oh, okay.
I mean, how you gonna get flagged, dude? It's on my channel.
No, I'm saying you're gonna hit him with the copyright strike.
No.
Yeah, he's saying Complex gonna get him.
Hey, what's going on in real life?
Yo.
Who's that? Who's in here?
Real life is out of cyberspace. Hey.
Oh, what's going on? What's going on, girl?
Hello.
Hey, wait. That's it right there. That's it.
Okay, let's take a look. Let's take a look.
Damn.
Yeah. The silver car, that was a GT3, and that was the red car was the Supra in front of it.
Yeah, but
and now the Supra for the going to limp mode.
Yeah, the Porsche driver's not even pushing it.
Man, you had to see the last few laps, dude. I mean, you can call the driver out. I look, because part of me was like, dude, that was a shitty driver behind the wheel. But at the same time, dude, that Supra was eating up pretty much anyone that he was running up on.
Well, I will say this, and Nagone can definitely back me up on this. It's not about the car; it's about who's behind the wheel.
Mm-hmm. That's a big part of it. That's a big part of it.
Because we keep hearing this thing for the past 2 years in Formula One.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Goddamn Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton is in.
And it's fucking Vettel.
Cars don't drive themselves.
They don't. I mean,
who's in a Mercedes?
I mean, equipment makes a little bit of a difference, but at the end of the day, the champion is the driver. It's the guy that's the guy in the car. There's no question about it. Am I going to back you up on that, Paul? All the way, baby.
Now, Paul, are you still praying at the German altar?
I worship at the German altar 24/7.
Hey, you know why we talking about cars being underrated, bro? They saying that Taycan, the
Porsche Taycan.
The Porsche Taycan is blowing everybody away.
That I read that too.
Yeah.
And yo, I think they got something.
Oh yeah. Well, it's a German.
Some of the reports that I heard was that the Porsche Taycan is probably too much for the average driver.
Exactly.
Yeah. That very well might be the case.
Chris Harris said last week. He said, despite the fact that it weighs 4,000 pounds, he said it feels like it drives like a lightweight car.
Wow.
4,000 pounds is a lot of
Yeah, but for electric motors, that ain't shit.
Yeah, he said you don't even feel the 4,000 pounds.
Yeah, the torque, the torque output negates. I mean, because we're talking about a bulbous pig of a Camaro that weighs 38, and that's with a gas motor.
But what about tires, though, fam?
What about
them? Yeah, you gonna eat up some tires?
No, not really.
Yeah, well, you go eat them tires like Mama Leona's lasagna.
I'm pretty sure they're running. I'm pretty sure there's a special compound, a rubber compound that's being run.
At the expense of grip.
I mean, come on, wait.
No. You're talking about grip that's already going to be. The car is already grip laden because of the low center of gravity and the weight. So it's already grip laden. What you need tires. You need tires that can reach the sort of like the equilibrium of wear versus grip.
You know what? Complex makes a very good point, because with a internal combustion motor, the weight of the motor is obviously centered underneath the hood. Even in a mid-engine car, the weight is centered around the motor. But with these electric vehicles, the weight is literally in the floor pan, because that's where the battery is. So you do make a good point, because I have been struggling to understand, even with German engineering, weight is weight. How the hell do you change physics? But
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You do make a good point.
Yeah, you don't change the physics. What we're actually changing is the power delivery. And so when we're talking about electric motors and shit, dude, forget about it.
Yeah, and the engineers for the GTR said that the weight actually simulated downforce.
That's what I mean. It's because the center of gravity is so low. As the car accelerates, the car's going to push the force.
It's going to push down.
It's going to push down. The batteries at the bottom of the car are just going to pull it down.
Yeah, it's just going to make it more sticky. Yep, that's a fact.
Can we see that interior one more time, please, Mike?
It's a BMW. Come on.
Hey, Complex. Have you heard the spaceship noise that comes through the speakers on the Porsche?
No.
Yeah, they all do that. I think they all do that in Europe, because even the Jaguar has that same one, right? It sort of jets in sound.
I think they mandated that the cars have to make a sound.
Yeah.
Bro,
a matter of fact, from what I heard, isn't it Hans Zimmer is the dude who actually created the noise for a lot of the BMW electric cars?
No way. Hans Zimmer?
The Hollywood sound guy?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. For real?
Business.
That's what I'm saying. Wow. Yep. That bad boy should sound pretty smooth. That sounds pretty cool.
That's why it probably, like what Ty City said, the shit sounds like a spaceship.
Yeah, but you know what? They said there's an option where you could turn it off.
Yeah.
Is there?
I'm just saying, in Europe, they mandated that electric cars have to have a noise. They have to have some sort of noise projection that's above a certain decibel. And because the electric motors just on their own aren't going to do it, they actually have a sound now that they're producing that the cars essentially make.
What's the royalties on that?
It's funny that you say that, because the Volkswagen IDR, which currently holds the overall fastest lap time ever on the Nürburgring, that thing is full electric and it makes no noise. When they were setting the world record, there was more wind noise going over the car than there was coming from the traction motors.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense.
Yeah, the Neo EP9 was the same way. When it lapped, was it a sub 7 minute Nürburgring lap before the IDR?
6 minute time.
It was the same thing. The only thing you could hear was the wind going over it.
Right.
That's so ironic, is that Germans are mandating engine sounds or vehicle sounds, and they're the same ones that will tow a car if it's too loud. Because I've seen somebody get their car towed in Kaiserslautern. It was an American, because their car was too loud. They didn't give them a ticket. They actually came with the tow truck and towed the car right there on the spot.
Yeah, but you talking about now, man. We're in a paradigm now where people walk around with AirPods and shit in their ears, So it's kind of like when a car that don't sound like nothing just pushes by you and you literally don't hear nothing. They're talking about even dogs don't detect them.
Right.
Well, keep in mind that the sensors on the LiDAR sensors on these cars actually prevent you from actually hitting something head on.
Well, the LiDAR sensors will prevent the car from hitting it. But what about like people that just don't hear nothing? Like
they don't hear nothing.
Even dogs don't.
Car. Yeah,
even
right.
dogs don't hear the cars.
And that's pretty high because dogs can hear at fairly high decibel rate.
I don't know if you ever been on foot and heard a Tesla drive by. You hear nothing. Nothing. You're looking at the car and it's driving by. You can barely maybe hear tires. You hear.
I was going to say,
nothing.
What you hear is you hear the tires on the ground. That's all you hear.
Right. Exactly. Nothing. You hear nothing.
Yeah, my coworkers have Teslas and Leafs and stuff. They have a lot of EVs at work, and it is kind of scary the first time you get into it. You're like, yo, this is not. I'm waiting for the rumble from the engine. It's like it's nothing here, and we're just moving. And this is like not real, man. This is not, real life is not cyberspace. So
yeah, it's a new game. It's a new game. New game. So I'm used to hearing that Detroit muscle.
Lumpy cams.
Hey Mike, you gotta pull up the new Escalade. It's some new talk about this Escalade is gonna have 38 inches of screen in the vehicle.
Oh yeah. I was gonna bring that up too. Let's look at that.
And then also the actual that entire platform. So that includes the Suburban, Tahoe, and then obviously the GMC counterparts. They're redoing the suspension in the back too. It's not going to have the convention. I think it's going to have like an independent rear suspension for the first time.
The parts bin.
Oh shit.
Well, I don't know if can it be parts bin for a vehicle that weight? They have to design something specifically for it, right?
Yeah, no, I'm talking about all of those trucks coming from the same parts bin.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, they're bad swap.
That's all cross-platform.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche does the same exact thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Do y'all think it's still a need to do that?
Yeah, to save costs.
Yeah, man, you already know what's going on with this shit.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, why it would save costs if you just had one model, wouldn't it? You wouldn't have to.
Well, here's the thing. They've already established those brands. Yeah, they've already established those separate brands. So GMC, Cadillac, and Chevrolet, they all occupy a distinct space. So you have people who buy specifically GMC products. They don't buy Chevrolet trucks. They only buy GMC.
Facts.
Right. So if anything, if anything, what GM should do is they should style them to look more different because a Volkswagen, because Volkswagens and Audis, they share the same chassis, but they don't look alike. All right. Same concept as what GM does, but the styling is so much different. You don't look at it and say, oh wow, that Audi and that Volkswagen, that's the same vehicle. But Volkswagen, Audi, Lambo, Porsche, and Bugatti, because they're all one giant company, it's all the same R&D now. So they share it. They share all the research and all the tech. So for every individual brand, it actually keeps costs down.
But I don't think Cadillac gonna share that 38-inch screen. That because
they'll probably share that with the next version of the Corvette or whatever it is. Because that it makes sense that they would trickle down the cost that way. Because that's not cheap, to make a proprietary 38-inch screen only for one vehicle.
Yeah, but now you guys are gonna call me a hater, but doesn't this look like a ripoff of the interior of the Mercedes-Benz S-Class and the
E-Class? My gosh! Now are you kidding me?
Dude, look at the screen.
Hold up! Now you
I thought he get mad when he said that.
Yeah,
preaching, man. Paul Paul's a hater, man.
Paul.
Paul. Wait, Paul. You find one thing you like about American Interior, you just
Paul, you're racist.
Paul,
Look at it. Look at those screens.
I'm looking right at it.
That is
Chris not
a Mercedes S-Class and E-Class screen. It's just a
you
little wider.
You reaching.
I'm not.
That's
bro.
a reach. I kind of think it's a little bit of a reach.
There might be some kind of Bosch unit or something. How you feel about that, Chris?
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
That's
off.
not a Bosch unit.
I'm just fucking with you.
That's not a Bosch unit.
Huh?
Even your son says that's not a Bosch unit.
Yeah,
no, but hey, you know what? Hey, why you joking? GM probably put a Hisense or a Vizio unit in they Escalade.
Vizio, this guy.
Black Friday leftovers.
Cyber Monday.
A boss head unit.
Yeah. No, but that is possible that Bosch would do something like that. It sure isn't AC Delco.
Hey, but hold on. Let's look at this Mercedes quote unquote Maybach. Don't that look like two iPhone Pluses, put together sideways? That black bar in the middle.
It looks like that's just Galaxy Fold.
Yeah, this looks cheap. That looks cheap. But no, Paul, can you explain this? Can you explain this to us? This cheap looking screen unit.
Cadillac stole it. He already explained it.
They stole it.
Well,
Paul, that's an embarrassment. That is an embarrassment to the German Empire.
That does not look cheap to me. I don't know what you're talking about. That does not look cheap.
Whoa. Paul, now see, now you're being disingenuous. Look at those two screens. And you're telling me that don't look cheap.
It doesn't look cheap.
No.
It looks a bit extreme.
I mean, it looks a little
garish.
Yeah, a little much. A little.
Yeah, I think they could have integrated into the dash better.
Right. I would agree with that.
That looked like two smartphones side by side. What are you talking about?
With a Logic G39 sim racing steering wheel.
Yeah, it looks a bit much for me. It looks a bit garish, but
yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, is that from Mercedes or is that who?
Oh, those are Mercedes. That's a Mercedes 2020.
That's from the factory.
See, this looks much more integrated.
That looks more better.
This looks much more stylish.
Yeah.
That looks
better.
Mercedes. Right.
That looks better.
That other one that you had looked like the Icy Hot Stunner version.
Yeah, that was a little crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, who doing the sound system in the Mercedes?
It depends. Either Sennheiser or Bang & Olufsen.
Yeah, they usually have two options: the stock model, and then the Bang Olufsen is like the upmarket.
As opposed to AC Delco in the American Star City.
Wait. Ty City is a big fan of block punk.
Oh, really?
No.
Block punk.
No, the old ones with the old pullout black.
The old pullout joint.
Benzie box, yeah.
A fucking pullout radio.
The Alpine with the iceberg button.
Oh wait, complex.
Yo,
the old pull-out radio with the removable steering wheel. There you go.
I mean,
with the club on it.
Right.
I'm almost like, why don't you what you do is you take the car, you park it inside the garage, and then you take the steering wheel on the radio, you stick it outside.
Well, I got
with the Viper alarm.
With the Viper alarm, yeah.
One of my friends who restores old Volkswagens, he collects old audio equipment, and he got all the hot shit from back in the day.
Yeah.
Did he have a gooseneck EQ?
They had EQs going into all kind of other head units that's not really head units. And
nah, bro, you had to have the gooseneck EQ, bro. That was the hot shit.
Yo, he had a whole bunch of old pyramid stuff, a whole bunch of old like, yo, he crazy about it, bro. He nuts about it.
I guess he's hoping that at some point it's gonna increase in value, but
well, yeah, you know, like people from like Porsche clubs and stuff like that, they like those old stereos, period correct stereos.
Does he also wear a members only jacket? Because he's the last member.
No, this stuff used to be expensive. He was telling me like it's like $600, $700 back in the day for some of that stuff.
I know.
Oh, Ty City, you missed it earlier. We was talking about how Ferrari has folded and they're coming out with an SUV.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They said they would never do it. They said they would never do it. And I remember when they said we're not gonna do it. That's not us. That's y'all bowing down. That's y'all
Ferrari got to stay in the money, man. And plus they got to get, they got soccer moms and shit out there. They got a lot of money. They're gonna be wanting to kick around.
I don't want to see a Ferrari SUV.
Man,
okay.
I think it's sucker laid as well, but I think it's coming down to the money. Anyway. It's coming down to the money.
I mean, Ty, I agree with you, man. I don't want to see one either, but you already know right now they make a fucking SUV. That's just gonna sell. You already know.
It's gonna sell. That's just gonna sell, man.
They'll just rebadge the Jeep SRT8, sell it for $500,000, and laugh all the way straight to the bank.
Yeah. They have the SRT8 Jeep.
Trez will have that motherfucker, bro.
Nah,
SRT8 Jeep was pretty loud.
Fan, believe it or not. I'm not really into SUVs. I'm not really a big SUV fan, believe it or not, man. I have the 4Runner only because I'm in Washington. But if I was in Las Vegas right now, the first thing I do is I'm selling this 4Runner, and I'm just getting a car and a motorcycle. That's it.
What year 4Runner?
Was it 2018? I think 2018.
So really, I mean, I've always been a fan of 4Runners, man. I like them.
Hey, babe,
I'd probably buy that bitch off you, and I just use that as a tow vehicle.
SUV is going to say
complex.
What up?
The 4Runner Limited, midnight blue, like 23,000 miles on it.
23,000 miles. That's 4 miles.
There you go. He only won 56 for it.
Nah.
God damn.
But for you, complex, I'll give you a good deal. I'll sell to you for 34.
There you go,
bro.
Only for complex. Only
what's
for
a 20? You said 2018?
Yeah, 2018.
There you go. No.
What's the book value on that? What's the book value on that? What's the book value on that, Connor?
You said what? Kelly Blue Book is probably about. I think it's about 36.
But
only got 23,000 miles.
What Ty City wants is the Tamika Blue Book. You don't want the Kelly Blue Book.
Hey,
Kalisha.
Hey, Trish, do it go through all the gears. Do it go through all the gears smoothly.
It's only got 23,000 miles. It's a Toyota, and I only take it to the dealership.
Right.
Lies
you tell.
Right.
Lies you tell.
Don't forget, it went to 2 different countries as well.
Hey, it ran when it was parked. It ran when it was parked.
Yeah, that's funny.
You changed the ball bearings in the muffler.
It's only knocking from one piston.
Fuck.
Damn.
I need a better one. Just not a better Toby. I need to do one.
Well, look, listen.
I know, right? Me too.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm just saying me too. And I was gonna say something superficial, not for nothing, but I hate those black stripes that they put on there. I think that looks so dumb. Do y'all think it looks good?
Racing stripes?
Black
stripe in the front.
Stripes. Yeah. Those racing stripes.
No, racing stripes. I mean, they're appropriate. They're appropriate. You got to have a performance car to pull it off. That's when it looks appropriate. Like if you
Yeah.
If you don't have comparable performance, you're riding around a car that's just basically stock, but you got some damn racing. Then yeah, I agree. It looks pretty corny.
Right. What about on that Jeep y'all just showed? Did you think it looked good there?
I mean, it's
off because it's a race.
It's a performance. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Racing stripe's supposed to mean high performance, high perf.
Okay. So it's like a little stamp. I got you.
Yeah. It's like a bag. You know
and it's like those aren't the only. I'll Mike, I'll post a link. You can maybe show it because it's dope as hell. I think we should talk about it. But racing stripes can also go on the side of the car.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what
they go vertical.
Okay. Well, complex. In fact, Complex and Nagone, do you remember when Bob Lutz was still working for Chrysler? There was a concept. I don't remember if they actually made it, but they showed they called it the Shelby SRT Cherokee or something like that. It had the same motor that was in the Viper, and it was blue with the white Shelby
with the white stripe.
Yep, I saw it in Car and Driver.
There you go.
They put that bad boy in there, and I never saw a limited run on that. I never did.
Yeah.
Because had they had it, I might have gone for it. That shit was a V10 up in there. That should have been crazy.
Well, you know what? While we're talking about certain colors being on cars, that blue got to go with that OG Viper, bro.
The blue and white.
Yeah. I agree.
Oh, you talking about the first GTS Viper was the blue with the white stripes.
Yeah.
Because that was Shelby.
Before that though, remember the old school RT10 Viper? You had to have that red or that yellow with them three spoke wheels, whatever them ugly wheels was.
Hey, they was ugly, but they was 17 by 14 in the back.
There's fat in the back, dude.
It had a fat ass. That shit looked fucking crazy. And it was honestly, a dangerous car, though. It was a dangerous car.
Yeah, them tires. Honestly, the 14 wasn't wide enough for the Viper back then.
No.
They really need like some 16s with some funny car tires because people was wrapping them around anything you can imagine.
They were falling off the side of in Ventura, fall off the side of the mountain.
Oh, there it is, bro.
That's it right there.
Clean off the road. I'm like,
that shit hard, bro.
Yeah, it is.
Gorgeous. Scared folks out the frame that joint.
It was freaking Miata front end.
Wait, say what?
We ain't gonna get
Miata front end.
A Miata front end. It looks like a very big Miata front end. Yeah,
it do.
Dude, this car made 450 horsepower with no traction control. What do you expect?
Nah, that car was too dangerous to spin. If you didn't have track racing type of driving ability, where you went to a school and drove in a car like that, and got a racing license and really understood, your first tier racing license, you have to go through a series of them. But if you had your first tier and at least got some skills underneath your belt and been on the track, you were going to get jacked up in that car. Sorry, that's just where that car was.
It wasn't just the horsepower; it was the crazy torque curve. Like
it was the crazy torque. It was the geometry. The geometry of the car and how the car was. It was too much. Guys, they thought they can get in that car.
Scroll back up.
Wait. Stop. Time out.
What?
1,476 kilos. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's 2,950 pounds. Track.
That's exactly right, bro. Oh, that's my dog. That's my dog, Paul.
Hold on, wait a minute, man. This shit's like fucking 800 pounds more or less than a goddamn Camaro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but look,
but remember, you could put that car on the track. That car was designed to run.
Oh no, I'm just saying, dude. Like, this is a Viper, and it's like 800 pounds less than that damn Camaro.
Yeah, but scroll up a little bit, Mike. That Viper was designed to be on the track. That was a track car.
Oh yeah.
Okay, when that car first came out, it didn't even have it didn't have a roof. That car came without a roof. It didn't even have a roof on it.
Yeah, there's a picture of one right there on the right that doesn't have a roof.
The one on the left though, you need that one. You need that one with a NASCAR jacket, and you in there.
Oh shit, man! There you go, dude.
Well, you know what? Here in Dallas, they got Dallas Performance, and they turn the 1,500 horsepower versions out all the time.
That's overkill. You know,
and what fool's gonna drive that car properly?
Yeah,
the guys who run
on the
no,
street.
the guys who run those what do they call it? Ty, the
Texas Mile.
Yeah, they run those cars and they run the damn Texas Mile at the airports.
And they sound nasty. That I don't like the way V10 sound, but when they under a turbo, they sound awesome.
Just the fact that you got a V10, that V10 is sexy as hell.
Hey, Mike, can you look up the Orica Viper?
You know what it is, Ty? Once you put that turbo on it, what it does is it evens out those exhaust pulses from that, because a V10 traditionally, like if you hear like a Viper with the side pipes, it sounds like
crazy.
5 cylinders.
Yeah,
it sounds like 2 5 cylinders. It don't sound right.
No, Mike.
I don't know, that car sounds crazy. I've had a few friends who've had a couple of Vipers.
You got it.
Yeah, that's
I had one who cracked his Viper up and damn they got killed in it. So
but was it one with the side pipes?
No, he had the side pipes on. It was one of the older. He had the side pipes on. I mean, the car sounded crazy. He didn't know how to drive it. I told him to go down to Pocono. Go to Bonroy Racing School and learn how to drive your car because that'll save your life. But anyway,
that's terrible.
Yeah.
This take me back to Gran Turismo 1.
Man,
yeah,
dude. Orica had that fucking motor pushed so far back, right, where it's literally like all the weight is technically in the middle of that car.
Really?
Everybody wondered how it was that Orica was able to put Vipers out. This thing was a goddamn GT killer during early to mid 2000s.
Yep.
Like Orica worked magic with this car.
Yeah, they sure did. You sure did.
Where's Oracle from?
They're French.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
they liked the Viper. When they first saw it, they thought they could work with it. When they first saw the car, they thought they could really, they could get that car balanced to really play.
I love that car, man.
They pushed the motor back.
That's one of those cars, bro.
Especially in Gran Turismo. Gran Turismo had the Orica, GTS, and
Gran Turismo, bro, with the unlimited money code in the memory card.
Hey, Ty.
I was getting it off, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I was getting it off.
Gran Turismo.
Hey, so wait, this is
unlimited money code on Gran Turismo, bro. That's from the best time of my life.
Anyway, this is what I was talking about right here with racing stripes that go horizontal along the side of the car. So you can have them. You can have them running basically vertically. Horizontally, right across the car or the top part of the car, or they run horizontally on the side.
Or I think the better term is transverse versus longitudinal.
Or however technical. I'm smoking.
Yeah, because those are transverse stripes. That's what they call them.
Transverse stripes. There you go. Yo, what's up, Paul?
Do you remember from the factory the Dodge
BMW
Viper
does that a lot.
ACR?
Yeah, the ACR. Yep.
The ACR at speed generated about 250 pounds of downforce. They said that car could technically drive upside down.
Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that with an Indy car. So
yeah, it was a picture one that popped up that had that wing on the back.
Yeah, but the ACR version that Paul's talking about, dude, you could buy that at a goddamn Dodge dealer.
Yeah,
they sold them at the on the showroom.
It had the wing. It had a rear diffuser. It had an underbody tray. It had a front splitter with canards. It was
like Dodge's version of a GT3. It was like a street legal race car, basically.
It was.
It was actually the ACR version was actually sanctioned.
People keep forgetting they designed.
It was actually they designed it to race it. Right? Yeah.
It was a race car design. That's what that car was. That was one of. That's why that's an original.
Not was Nagone. Not was is that car. Still
I'm saying when they first came out with it. It was designed for the track. That's what that car was. It was a concept car designed for the track. That's what it was. It wasn't a production car they were going to put in production. That they decided to do that. It was an afterthought. The car wasn't originally designed to be a street running, production car. That's why when they put it in production and they started giving it to these sucker lades who had the money, but didn't have enough sense.
I know y'all.
They didn't have enough sense. They
I know y'all don't like the big wing, bro. I know y'all don't like the big wing, bro. But that shit hidden, bro.
Whoa! Who said we don't like a big wing? Any person
I don't know what Ty City saying.
You love.
Bro, look at that, bro. That is cold, dog.
No. See, the difference is Ty City.
It's cute, but it looks clumsy. But it is cute.
Well,
but it's functional. It's functional. It's all about function.
That's the point.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that shit reminds me of the Chaparral back in the freaking late 60s, early 70s.
Yes, absolutely.
Paul, I know you remember that shit.
Absolutely.
I know you remember that shit.
See, Ty City like wings
Gordon
like
Murray's first car that he designed.
And wasn't that car beautiful? Wasn't that a beautiful, sexy looking race car?
Yes, it was, bro.
I love that. Paul, you my dog. So you remember all this stuff.
Absolutely, bro. What, dude? I love racing, man.
Yeah, you remember the Chaparral? Oh yeah, that's where they got that from. That rear wing, that big sexy rear wing on that bad boy.
Absolutely. The Brabham van car. What?
Hell yeah.
And so the function of it being big like that versus a little one is to allow more wind to go through, so it doesn't create more traction, right?
No, generate downforce.
No, generate downforce.
Got it. Okay.
It's a concept of lift. You have lift that helps to put a plane in the air. And then you have reverse lift that puts, let's say, a vehicle closer to the ground. The concepts are the same. They just working. They just one's down and the other one's up.
Yeah, completely understood.
So it produces more pressure on the top of the car to press it down, keep it to the ground. Where lift, you put more pressure underneath an airfoil, which will lift it up against against the forces that might be keeping it down to put it in the air, or Bernoulli's equation, if you guys are familiar.
Got it.
Yeah, because when you're at that speed, especially on the street, you can feel the car kind of suck down, just like 1 or 2 inches, like it presses down.
Kind of like when you drive a real heavy car. My only experience with that would have been like a BMW 7 Series and Mercedes E, where it feels so heavy, but like once you're driving fast, it feels almost scary light. So that's basically like how to superimpose that concept on a situation without the wing, kind of, right? Like that heaviness that when it gets faster, it feels.
It's just like this. Exactly. I was at Pocono. We were coming around on that top band, and we were hitting. I guess we were hitting maybe about $175. I wasn't going any faster than that. The car was putting so much downforce that you almost couldn't move the wheel in some ways. It was difficult to kind of move the wheel. It's pressing it down. It's almost like the car is almost resistant to it being moved because it's being pressed to the ground so tight. So it's a different feel.
You want high speed stability.
It's inertial forces. So what happens is that any an object an object in motion is going to tend to stay in motion until an opposing force acts upon it.
Right.
Okay? And then the energy at which that object is carrying is going to require more inertial force to move it. That's the reason why it's like once you get up to speed, the car's going to want to just go straight. It's not going to just easily turn.
And that downforce it's a real pressure. It's a pressure pushing the car down. So it's like it's something that's being pushed. So there's no side lateral movement in the car.
Right, you're not flying all over the place.
It's being pressed down. It's actually being pressed down to the ground.
And now, when you see the wing is that's why we put the emphasis on functionality, because if you're not going to actually be getting up to a certain speed, there's no need for that additional downforce, because at low speeds the wing creates drag, and so it actually slows down the car. So you actually want, if you're gonna have a wing like that, you want a high performance car that you're gonna actually extrapolate that high performance from.
Right.
See like Ty City, he likes wings like this on cars that have 150 brake horsepower and that are 4,000 pounds. That's Ty
Which
City.
means you don't need it though, right?
Basically, that's a very fancy way of Super saying it's all for looks.
Right.
Down here in Texas, when you see a wing like that, it's got a parachute underneath it. They don't have those for nothing down here. I don't know what they do with you at.
Yeah. Your parachute
that don't fly.
Hey, if they running that Texas mile, look. If you running that Texas mile, you need that wing and that damn parachute.
Wait, time out. Ty City, it's funny how we just sat here and explained how downforce works and the purpose of downforce and the difference between road cars and racing cars. Okay, so now you're gonna sit there and tell me that you
they're on the streets.
like cars with a whole bunch of horsepower, but you don't want a wing on it because
No, I didn't say I don't want a wing.
No, that's not. No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that.
Oh, but
I'm saying that when you do see a wing like that, they using that motherfucker.
It's a legit. Yeah,
it's legit. It's
a parachute on that motherfucker too. Yeah.
No. What I'm saying is that when Ty City said he has a parachute underneath his wing, it's for when he flies off the overpass.
you know, Triz coming there with that. You know how Triz rolling.
You know what? We sit here and laugh, bro, but I'll never forget when I first started riding my motorcycle and I went on an overpass, bro, and I looked over the edge. I'm like, damn, that's a long way down.
Man, I love bikes. The first time I ever really cared about a bike, I remember I was coming out of Palladium, New York City. This was like circa, I want to say like 1997.
Oh, I remember the Palladium. Yes.
What?
Palladium.
It's a nightclub in New York, right?
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
A now defunct one. Yeah. And we walked out and everybody was crowded around something. And there was Mike Tyson on a gold wing. I had never seen a gold wing before in life, right? So, and I was, a kid at that time. So I was like, what is that thing he's on there? And so some guy, one of the bouncers, he broke the whole thing down to me. So, it has AC, it has a radio, da da da. I'm like, I can't believe this. And I've been in love with those ever since. But I hear a lot of motorcycle aficionados say, well, that's not really a motorcycle. But it is though, isn't it?
They say it's not a motorcycle because it's a Honda. That's why.
No. It was a cruiser. Because it was a cruiser. It was not a crotch rocket like guys like Triz like. That's all.
Like the Harleys, like the straight up.
Correct.
Right.
Listen, yes, I'm a crotch rocket guy, but myself and everybody I know respect the Gold Wing. Everybody respects the Gold Wing. It's not for me, but you got to respect it.
I mean, it's like the damn Cadillac. It's like the Cadillac of motorcycles.
Right.
Matter of fact, what people do with the Gold Wing, what they do is, like my old administrator, he was a Gold Wing guy. He's owned like 6 Gold Wings. He drives his Gold Wing from Texas to Alaska and back.
Wow.
Every year.
Yeah.
Now what he does is he takes his Gold Wing. He takes off the motorcycle tire and back and puts an actual car tire on the back because they last significantly longer. That's how serious he is.
Yeah, that sounds so cool. I like that.
No, the Gold Wing is
I hate those ninja bikes.
They got automatic transmissions on them.
Huh? What's
the
that?
The Gold Wing's got automatic transmissions on them.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. No, the ninjas. I love the ninjas, but they do a pretty dangerous. Those are racing bikes. Those are super bikes. You gotta know what you're doing on those as well.
Yeah, those are crazy. But
man, it's all about those MV Agustas, man. Mike knows what I'm talking about.
Oh, I don't know what that is. What is it called? MV Agusta? I'm gonna look it up right now.
MV Agusta. Okay. Yeah, that's a bike for your ass right there.
Very, very dangerous.
Hey, how you feel about
very dangerous.
How you feel about the new Ducati V4?
That's the bike. That's the bike I want.
Highly buttily.
But that's the bike. That's the bike right there,
bro. I think this is too much.
If I get that bike, if I get a Ducati V4, I'm taking some advanced motorcycle because that's a bike that'll kill you.
Most of those bikes will kill you if you don't know what you're doing.
Oh yeah, I just looked at that Ducati. That thing looks crazy.
They think they know what they're doing, and these bikes will take off on you in a heartbeat.
It looks like it has its own personality.
Next thing you know, before you wake up, your ass is wrapped around some freaking guardrail somewhere.
But you're a piece. I rode that CBR 1000 for 6 months, bro, and I was just like,
man, that's a leader bike, dude.
It was just in the back of my head. I was like, it's gonna happen. It's
going
to happen.
I had to
sell it, bro.
CBR 1000.
Well, see,
you had a CBR?
Yeah, I had a CBR 1000. Matter of fact,
the last one, like the blade.
No, I had a 2000, I think it was a 2005 CBR 1000. I got the stretch swing arm 240 tire.
Yeah, okay. Let me tell you what happened to one of my friends out of my golf foursome. We had a golf foursome, so we go out every Sunday. We be playing. One of my boys was on that CBR. He got it. He actually he had some settlement from his job that he had gotten, and he had got an extra like 50 grand or whatever. He decided to go out and buy that bike. He said, listen, you haven't driven a bike like this before, Mike. Be very careful. You don't know, get some real good training on this thing or whatever. He thought he could play it live. Make a long story short, dropped his bike at about 45 or so miles an hour. He ultimately had a cement ring around the side of his helmet. How many times he rolled him, he was on the ground. And he was partially paralyzed.
Oh,
and
gosh.
Our foursome was dropped down to a threesome. All right. That's how that worked.
Damn.
That's how that worked.
I had a ZX6.
Okay. All right.
Right.
My boy who's VP at my bank right now, hanging out. His wife came in there, saw him. His wife, all right, came in there and saw him.
She was like, get rid of that goddamn bike.
She started crying when this dude in the hospital. It was this bad. So I'm just telling you, listen, man, these bikes, with all this power, if you don't know what you're doing and you're not well trained in this, you're gonna get jammed.
Hey, Mike, you still there?
You're gonna get jammed. Sorry.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying, bro.
Mike, you still there?
Mike went to go get some Boston baked beans.
I
want to do some old Alexander the Great lemon head.
Straight up, cherry clams.
When you get back.
No, I had the Ninja. I had a 636 Ninja, right? And that's what I learned to ride on. And I'm just beating the hell out of this bike. And I'm like, man, like I'm done with this bike. I need to go to a leader bike. So I go and I get that CBR 1000. And when I got on that, I had rode it around the little thing at the dealer. I put it on the highway and just went through the gears. And I was like, bro, it is no way I'm gonna ride this thing for a long time.
Man, look, dude. Here, look. When I had my shop, dude, here was the rule. Dude. When somebody came in and wanted to buy a bike, I was like, look, man, check this out. If you don't have kids, get a bike. If you got kids, do not get a bike. Straight up. That was my rule.
That's another reason why I sold it too, bro.
That's what I'm saying. That was my rule, dude.
It was in the back of my head, bro. The damn thing was so fast, bro.
Hey, Ty said, you know why I sold my CBR?
You want something faster?
That bike is 0 to 60.
When I got on that CBR 1000, I drove for about 4 months. I said, you know what, man, this shit ain't doing it for me. I went to the dealership. I went straight to the dealership. I said, I want the Hayabusa. And I said, I'm coming up there with a trailer because I'm taking it straight to the shop. So I went to the dealership with a trailer. Got the Hayabusa, took it. Man, I got pictures and everything. Took it straight from the dealership to the shop because I needed it faster even than when it was stock. And it still wasn't fast enough. I'm ready for that Ducati right now.
But you can't handle a 125cc cart.
Man, that's different, man.
Paul, you hear this?
That's different.
I find that.
Do you hear this?
Believe it or not, Complex. It sounds crazy, but I feel like I got more control on the bike than I do in the car.
No, it doesn't sound crazy, dude. Fucking carts are off the rails,
bro. You know what? Listen. I have one person for you to look up, and Complex knows this guy. Nagone might know him. Look up Wayne Rainey. He is a motorcycle racing legend, and look at the crash that he took.
Now check that out, Ty City. That's the CBR 1000.
And Wayne. Now that car, that bike is a monster.
No, he got
a monster, dude. That shit's a monster.
That stretch arm right there. I see it.
Yes, it's a 240 on the back of that.
Yo, Tris, let me ask you, man. Can you knee drag? Can you knee drag that bike, man? Can you knee
drag?
I knee drag.
Not that bike.
Listen. Look, hey, Nagone. I knee drag.
That bike ain't turning nowhere.
Hold on.
That's straight line, dude.
No.
I'm the best one.
I knee drag that bike, and I knee drag the Hayabusa. Matter of fact, I knocked off my entire exhaust of the Hayabusa. I got so low on that.
All right, dog. All right. Well, listen. You're doing your thing. One of my boys got torn out the frame, and he's walking better now. But he's walking with a cane. He'll never ride another motorcycle again in his life.
There you go.
And he's lucky he's alive.
Nah, that shit ain't no joke, bro. And I tell people all the time, bro. Yo, this ain't a toy. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, these are not toys.
Nah, hell no.
These are not toys. These are not toys.
I tell people carts aren't toys, man.
No, carts are not toys. I mean, no real serious motor vehicle is a toy. None of them really are. Of ski-doos and all that, none of them are toys. All right. But all this motorized stuff can be exceedingly dangerous.
I'm
just saying, you just know what you're dealing with. That's all.
General rule of thumb, dude. If it can do over 30 miles an hour, it can kill you.
Exactly correct. My man dropped his bike at just about 40 miles an hour, and this dude.
That's what I mean, dude. Yeah.
He's lucky he's alive. His helmet, because he rolled so many times, he got like a cement skid ring that's a circle around his helmet.
That's crazy.
I mean, that's how bad that shit was.
Listen,
right?
he
don't even remember. Let's put it like this: he don't even remember falling off his bike.
Bro, listen, here is,
and then he had a helmet
on. Here is something that I learned my first day in my apprenticeship when I became an iron worker. If the first part of your body to hit the ground is the back of your head,
you
fall of 4 feet is enough to kill you.
You finish.
Yeah.
Finish.
If the first part of your body to hit the ground is the back of your head, 4 feet above the ground is enough to kill you.
You
keep that in mind.
You finish.
That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, so keep that in mind, Ty City, when you're playing that knockout game down in DFW.
Nah, hell nah, bro. Not down here, bro. And it's a reason why I didn't take off down here.
Why
not? Shit, let me see. It's open carry, then there's concealed carry, then there's carry for no reason, then there's carry because it's hot outside, carry because it's cold outside.
Oh my
shit.
Yeah,
people wonder why I left America.
Here we go.
Where'd you go?
Here we go.
Germany.
Here we go.
Okay, what part?
Cologne.
How long you been there?
I've been coming back and forth about 7 or 8 years, and then I finally got a place. Actually earlier this year, because it's about a 1 hour drive from the Nürburgring.
Yeah. You know, he goes to the Nürburgring. You know, it's only about an hour away. Yeah.
When you were in America, what region were you in?
NYC for life, baby. No matter where I go, NYC for life.
No doubt.
New York Yankees fan since 1976.
Let me guess. The knockout game was popping up there.
Wait,
what?
The knockout game was popping up there.
In what? In New York or in Cologne?
Where do you think it started? Where do you think it started? Come on, man. What do you think this is, man?
Like many other things.
Yo,
you guys are savages. You're all savages.
You're
all savages.
Because we come from the best place on earth.
Whatever. I'm from LA. That's the best place on earth.
Classic argument.
For life.
We'll be arguing this in the next lifetime still.
Oh, there's no argument. There's no argument. I
love LA. Great place to visit, but I ain't living there.
Listen, I got too many.
I'll be there. I can stay there 90 days, and then
I've got way too many New York transplant homies who will sit up there and talk that New York shit to me, and then I'm like, dude, why are you here? Oh fam, you know, man, you know, beach, fam, you know, fam, you know,
hey man, hey listen, I've been out to LA many times.
California's beautiful. You know, I mean, California, you fall in love with
California. Just ask all the New Yorkers who live here.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Bro, listen.
Hey, Mike. Where did Mike go? Hey, how fast y'all? How much power y'all think these bikes gonna end up with before people just say put a limit on it, bro? Because that new Ducati is just nuts, man.
Yeah, but they already are, right? So most countries outside the United States won't allow you to have a liter bike.
Oh.
Yeah, in Jamaica, you can't even get a 1,000 cc. It's only they limit them down to 500.
750.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a lady on the panel here. Where are you from, sweetheart? Where are you from?
Sorry, I was on mute because I didn't want the interference. I'm from New York. I was born in DC, but I grew up in New York. So I was in New York from age 4 till adulthood. I'm 42 now. I live down south, and I have lived down south for the past about 6 years. But I'm from New York. I'm a New York person.
Whereabouts from New York?
Manhattan. I grew up in Harlem. Well, I grew up in Sugar Hill, but if you're not from New York, you may not know it. It's a small little area between Washington Heights and Harlem, but it's, you know, a lot of
I
people
know
still.
exactly where it is.
Yeah, that's where I'm from. But I lived everywhere except for the Bronx. But Harlem is home.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. You know Westchester County pretty well?
Actually, I went to school. I went to Purchase. My first schooling part.
Purchase.
Yeah, so that's where I got to know upstate. I love upstate. As a matter of fact, if I ever go to live back in New York, it would be upstate. I would love to have property up there.
Yeah.
They have these.
Called upstate. I would say that's the burbs. Upstate, I would consider to be a more up towards like Monroe and my house up that I had up in Highland Mills and in that area.
Do you know a town called Conesville?
Conesville?
Yeah, it's a real small town. It's like up past Elmira. It's like by the Catskills, well, actually. And so I went to go look at property over there about maybe like 3 years back. Man, they had 11 acres. A lot of it was wooded, but still 11 acres, 49K. I mean, man, listen, the land up there is crazy.
And it's cheap. It's cheap when you get right outside a 90-mile radius. It's a little
changes.
You're gonna you know the metropolitan area. You start going upstate it's prices change.
Changes. Completely changes. Yeah. So like New York City, like Nagone said, once you get about a half hour, 45-minute drive away from New York City, New York State becomes a farm state.
Yeah, well,
completely different.
Yes, and it's so much bigger than people really realize. I mean, New York City already is big, right? But then you go out the whole state. I mean, there were places I felt like I was in a whole nother land, like Vermont type feeling, you know, or something I associate with like Oregon or something, you know, just like clean air, mountain lions running around and stuff like that. But New York is beautiful, you know, but living in the city is crazy.
Why do you think I left America? You have to leave the country. You got to leave the country. It's awesome. I love it.
Paul went to the land of the racetracks. That's where he went.
You got to.
Yeah, I'll be there though. I told you, man, my bucket list is to visit every iconic track. And you know, Paul, I've been watching a ton of German karting championship.
Yes.
Dude, there's one race I gotta send you. Dude, the track it's like a spa for karts.
Really?
There's some track out there where it's long as shit, and I mean it is technical as all hell.
In what city?
Was it Kerpen? Kerpen? Kerpen.
Doesn't ring a bell off the top of my head.
No, I'm gonna send it to you. I never heard of it. I never heard of it. So I don't know, man. Germany's quickly becoming one of these places I'm gonna need to go to.
Yeah, dude.
But you know, just like what you guys are talking about though, like I mean, it's like that with everywhere. Even when you talk about like California, if you go way up, like past Bay Area, for example, once you get up into like Sacramento, you go further north, it's all like farmland. Even where I live at, it's in between like southern and central California, and so it's all agriculture and farmland here.
Dude,
so it's just like that. Is that you're gonna have your city clusters, and then actually when you come out of that, then it becomes more rural.
Dude, the Nürburgring is inside the Black Forest. So
wow, I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a track inside. It's literally all the forest is basically cut in the forest.
Yeah, it's thousands upon thousands of square miles. So it's an entire part of the country. So the Black Forest is amazing. So as you're driving toward the track, once you're about maybe 35, once you're about a half an hour out, you hit the area. Now you're in the Black Forest. So it's nothing but mountains and forests and trails and hiking, and it's awesome.
I'm looking at pictures now. It is so beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's
you gotta
look
at some,
is.
Yeah, I was gonna say you gotta actually look at some onboard footage of a car driving the Nürburgring.
It's
because
beautiful.
It's a racetrack set in the forest.
Because it is the largest racetrack in the world. It's 13 miles long. The Nürburgring is so big that the town of Nürburgring is actually inside the track. That's how large the track is. And there's the town of Nürburgring, the town of Adenauer. It's amazing, and it's
you can see all those beautiful houses along the perimeter. It's really, really breathtaking. That's beautiful. So you've driven this track?
2 to 3 times a week.
Oh,
wow,
God, Paul,
that's so
really?
nice.
But not this time of year because the track is in the mountains. So in the mornings, there's ice on the track, so you never know what time it's going to open. Sometimes it'll close early. So, but come January, yeah,
Mhm.
2 to 3 times a week. It's only an hour drive away.
Isn't that
Wow.
when they start running the ADAC 24-hour or their endurance series there? When do they start?
Well, the VLN's
Yeah,
the
VLN. That's
the 2020 season should start in January or February.
okay.
And but then there's always little one-off races. There's DTM races. Then there's also track days and there's club days, and then there's events. Like I missed one event July where they actually
Built that
closed
V4, Mike.
That V4 stupid. I like the Street Fighter version.
200 horsepower in a bike.
Yep.
214, my G.
No, wait. Go to the there's one that has 230. Which one is that one?
Dude, this
That's
is
the
suicide.
Deauville.
V4R. Go to the R. That one.
Suicide.
Woo!
Look at the weight.
Look at the weight on that one. Suicide, dude.
But they're afraid to get in a 125cc cart. I don't understand.
I don't get it.
But you know what? Hey, you know what the thing about a complex? The carts, right? They don't have a suspension. Like any little bump or jar, one of those wheels is coming off the ground.
No,
man,
what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah, those go-karts don't have any suspension on them.
They don't.
Yeah, exactly. So I drove I don't know what CC it was, but I was in Arkansas. They had a go-kart track with these super fast go-karts. They probably was like 50 cc, something like that, something crazy. And
Mike, that bike right there is a wave,
the
bro.
track was bumpy on certain parts, and so the actual track, the cart will come off the ground. Yeah, nah, I'm not doing that. I need to have a suspension where I can know that I can keep the tires on the ground.
But yeah, you spending 40,000
on this? Would you get on something with 230 horsepower between your legs?
In a bike.
Well,
I don't understand.
Dude, the engine in a V8 car weighs more than this bike. You were smoking crack, bro. You're smoking crack.
I mean,
nah, you getting jiggy with this.
Well, yes, Seattle, so
40,000 too much for a bike.
You moving on this? You moving on that? You moving on this?
No,
yeah, you are.
You are dying.
You're dying on it too.
That's what you're doing. You're dying on this. This is straight suicide here.
Dude, unless it's pure track, dude. Like you're just talking about, I'm riding this to work, derp. Yeah, right. Okay.
I know that whole back area just makes me nervous.
Well, I mean, look, if you're on track with this stuff, if you're on track with it, it's fine, right? Because it's designed for that.
Hey, let me ask you, complex. Is this to be driven by some average joker driving around the street?
Fuck no, dude. No way.
You're going down.
The guy who buys this Traxxon, dude. The guy who buys this Traxxon on the weekends, bro. That's what.
But you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. I rode one of the last Gixxers. I think it was a 2017, and it has so much nanny stuff on it, bro, that you had to literally turn everything off to mess up on that bike.
Nah, you can mess up enough. If you hit it,
you can yam on the brake as hard as you want, bro, and the ABS would just take over, bro. And you can pull the throttle hard as you want, and it would take off, but it wouldn't be nasty.
Bro, it's still a motorcycle. Okay.
No,
something
listen, I'm just saying. Listen, I'm just saying. I don't like all that other stuff anyway. I think
you're supposed to be doing that shit right there on that bike.
They're putting these racing bikes on the street. Bro. I think that shit is crazy. That's the problem. They're putting these freaking racing bikes on the street, and I'm telling you, their proportions and their weight and everything else like that is proportional to a racing bike that you can literally get put on the track. Small differences. And you got these knuckleheads driving these things around, thinking they're getting live, and I've seen the results.
Bro, all it takes is what's called an offset impact. So another vehicle hits you from the side or from an angle, and you are dead. You are in a pine box with all of your nannies and all of your safety equipment. That's all it takes. And
depending on how fast you're driving,
this is the most morbid conversation ever.
I'm just saying, people got to understand what you're doing on these bikes.
I agree.
I agree. You know what though? You don't even got to go that fast because this cat on my street, he was stopped at a stoplight, got knocked off his bike by a car. A truck came behind him, a pickup truck, and ran him over. With his helmet on, still killed him.
Boom.
I'm just saying, you got to know what you're doing on these bikes. A lot of these people get on these things. They really don't know what they're doing. They don't understand the power they're dealing with. They don't understand the geometry of the bike. They don't understand how this thing is going to react in under certain situations. They really don't know.
More guys,
and they think they're butter laid, and it's not a game. That's all. That's all I'm gonna say about it.
More guys die riding these things than dudes who race supercarts. Okay, and that's
exactly right.
That's
exactly
250
right.
cc's in a cart racing on a full-size track doing about 130 miles an hour.
But they're on a track. But these guys are right.
That's what I mean. I mean, like, as crazy as you think karting is, dude, more guys die on these things than they do on carts.
Motorcycles are dangerous.
Listen,
they're
more
dangerous.
people die from eating hot apple pies from McDonald's that burns.
Well, they die. Yes.
Nobody has any complaints about shutting down McDonald's and their hot apple pies that scald the roof of their mouths. I don't
So why y'all killing off Mike bike dreams, man?
I'm not doing shit.
You know what, Ty City? Bro, listen. On your tombstone, I will personally make sure that it says, "Here lies Ty City." His last words were, "I don't care what you say."
I'm gonna tell y'all something, bro.
I got to live my bike dream.
Yo, I went out on that CBR one night, and I just beat the hell out of it, bro. And I came back home, and I just thought about how stupid that shit was, bro. And
if you have a kid, do not buy a bike.
I'm just saying, if you're going to get a bike like that too, I'd say put a few extra dollars. Go with a motorcycle. Go with a professional motorcycle racing school or wherever, driving school. Put a weekend. Pay whatever. Some of these courses are expensive, but it's worth the time. Put that money in, and do a whole week. Yeah, well, you may pay $2,000. You may pay $2,500, but that's worth it compared to what can happen to you. So I say go in there and do that. Really learn how to handle your bike and understand what you're doing. And I think it's a safer game from there. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, no, there's nothing like it. You can say how dangerous it is or whatever, bro. It's nothing like it, bro.
I've been on bikes, man. I've been on bikes.
Yeah, we get it.
It's nothing like it, bro.
I understand what it's like. I'm saying,
bro.
Typically something that triggers that type of adrenaline rush and endorphin.
Hey, listen, it's crack cocaine, dude. That shit is crack. Yeah. It's crack.
Until you crack your skull.
But when you find yourself halfway dismembered on the highway or something else like that,
no, somebody else.
Then you're looking at it from a different perspective. All right.
Yeah, this shit gets real, right?
Bro, I'm telling you.
It gets quite real.
Bro,
the top of sixth gear on that goddamn CBR 1000.
Yes.
Bro.
Okay.
Dog.
Yes. Road rash upon thy limbs and back.
Thank you.
Bro.
As a result.
It's crack cocaine. Listen, I love speed. I love speed. So I understand. I'm just saying, be responsible with it because bikes. And then you have to deal with other people who don't know how to drive around folks who are on bikes. There's so many other factors that.
Listen. I've always said this. You want to go fast, just fucking go and do it on a track.
I thoroughly agree with that.
I
agree with that, and see what's really happening. Get out, and then you get out there with people who are trained and
just go to the track.
Dude, go onto YouTube, look up Nürburgring Touristenfahrten, and if that's too difficult to spell because it is German, then just type in Nürburgring car crashes.
Oh shit! I love those videos.
I love Touristenfahrten. The only thing I don't like about Touristenfahrten crashes is when I'm on the track and the track gets shut down for about an hour
because some idiot does some stupid shit.
while they clear away. But my point here is, it's a racing track. So even if you go off and even if you do damage to your vehicle, guess what? There's 3,000 pounds of metal surrounding you. When you're on a motorcycle, you are effing dead.
Yeah, it's true.
You know what?
Hey.
I would rather be going down the Dalton Gahua at 180 miles an hour in a Porsche with metal around me rather than going down the Dalton Gahua on a motorcycle where if anything goes wrong, I'm dead.
It's true.
Now, I feel better on a
you
motorcycle going fast.
Oh, whenever you riding on a motorcycle and there's nobody around and you downshift 2 gears.
No, sir.
Yes, we get it, dude. You have a metaphysical orgasm. We get it.
Tight, dog.
No, thank you. Okay.
Mm-hmm. That bike you just showed, Mike, with all the innards showing. Which one was that?
I love it. Until you got to be careful with it.
Bro.
What were you saying in real life?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I think maybe I have a delay. I'm going to refresh the page.
No, you're good. She said the bike that you were showing where you were clicking the different colors. What bike was that?
The one with all the innards.
The muscle bike.
Oh, okay.
It's a Ducati's muscle bike.
What's the purpose, like when they have all the insides out like that? Is that just for looks or is that functional too?
No, it's functional.
Yeah, it's called a
Because I feel like a whole bunch of stuff will fly into, I mean, I don't know, like obviously, you know, there's a rudimentary understanding there, but I'm just thinking, won't a whole lot of like silt and grit fly into like the gears and stuff like that when it doesn't have the covers on it?
No.
Everything is covered.
Yeah, everything is sealed. Yeah, everything is sealed. The difference is that those type of bikes and like naked bikes, they have a more of an upright riding style. Mm-hmm. So it's not as strenuous on the back. You sit more upright versus the sport bikes where you lean over more, and it's a lot harder to ride those bikes.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, like any of those bikes, when you ride any of those bikes at speed, it creates almost like a bubble around the bike. And so things don't necessarily hit the bodywork. It kind of flies around you. Mm-hmm. It's just like fluid dynamics, because you're riding through air molecules. So it kind of goes around you, so to speak. Right. You see what I'm saying? Now whatever is outside, like your helmet, like when you go above the windscreen, yeah, stuff is gonna hit you like that. But like your bodywork, pretty much your bodywork is gonna be meant on the sides of the bike. None of that stuff gets hit.
That makes sense.
And then at speed too, Triz, at speed too. So like any rock that flies up, the air is actually going to push it over the helmet. Mm-hmm. So it's not going to actually like smack the helmet dead on. It's usually
with the aerodynamics of it.
Here's the thing.
It's riding an air wick over your helmet.
Because you know how when they tell you, like,
if you don't have the helmet on, mm-hmm. like what I did one day, I rode my bike. I rode my bike without a helmet. I was in Texas, and I had my sunglasses on. I had my Gucci gray
stunner, your icy hot stunner shades.
Yeah, and a rock hit me right in my eye and went through my glasses.
Yeah, but it's very dangerous to be driving around without a helmet on either. I mean, a lot of people think it's cool or macho, but
yeah, I'm never a fan of those half helmets, dude.
If you do drop your bike and you fall, hit the ground, your head hits the ground, the scrambled leg on the floor. You know what I'm saying? The scrambled leg.
Immediately.
That's it. You got scrambled legs.
Even if you like I knew a lady, she was a patient of mine. She had one of those half helmets, like the ones that like those German style helmets. Mm-hmm. And she fell off a bike with the German helmets and what happens, the German helmets, that little brim around it puts pressure when you hit that part of the helmet. Mm. So she ended up getting a skull fracture even with her helmet on. And paralyzed.
Yeah, I'm just saying, have the proper equipment and stuff. Too many people. I see too much recklessness out there, and then when shit pop up, and then shit happens because shit pop up. Next thing you know, you see people getting torn out the frame unnecessarily.
Dude, you got to make sure your helmets are. You got to make sure your helmets bare minimum are DOT, and like better is DOT and Snell.
Yeah, you want the Snell. You want Snell, and you want it full face.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I have. That's what I have to run. It's stipulated. I have to run a Snell helmet.
And not only do you want full face, you want the ones a full face fixed helmet. because you have the full face where the actual whole face pops up. But if you hit a certain part on the chin, it will pop the whole face up, and it'd be just like you didn't have a helmet on.
Fuck.
So it's better to have a full face fixed helmet. Snell.
Absolutely. And and people, I just see people being so reckless. And like I said, after my boy got torn out the frame on his bike and everything else like that, and I've ridden ever since I was a kid, and I understand riding motorcycles and playing. I love the super bikes and all that, but when I got married and I had kids, I decided not to play with it because I understood what it meant. And then ultimately, when I was driving high performance cars, I ended up going to racing school. I ended up doing it.
You SCCA certified, right?
SCCA certified. SCCA, Sports Car Club of America. You can take a look underneath Von Laurent Racing rules, and a few others have racing schools that you go to, and every course you take, you get a certain number of points for a racing license. And I'm sure Mike Complex and Paul and can kind of tell you about that. But that's kind of the game. It's kind of the game that you play if you're going to do this thing intelligently. So at least you know how to handle with what you're dealing with. I've seen too many guys get cracked up, and then my golf partner, just getting paralyzed, getting on that CBR and thinking he was Zeus, with no skills, and then got torn out the frame.
It's ridiculous.
This was not a joke. It wasn't a game.
And you hear a lot of other dumb stuff too, like people doing things or for example, my one of my teachers, he was driving in the rain, and I figure like if I had a motorcycle that even if I drove it regularly, I probably would just not do it in the rain because you're just upping the laws of probability of getting your ass whacked. So why do it?
Hold on. I had my CBR 1000.
Yeah,
I drove my CBR 1000 for an entire year straight. Didn't even drive my car for an entire. Matter of fact, I had to take my car to a shop and have all the fluids reprimed before I could even drive it because I hadn't driven it so long. But I drove my CBR. I had a whole rain suit. I drove it rain, no matter what the weather was. I drove it. I had to go to the grocery store every other day.
Okay, that does not change the fact that a wet road increases your probability, because I'm gonna tell you right now, man. When
Not when you an ice and hot stunner like me.
Listen. When I had my shop, dude, there was hardly anybody who would ride in the rain, especially in LA, because we don't get a lot of rain. So when we do get a lot of rain, there's a lot of standing water because there's a lot of oil on the asphalt.
Exactly.
And then you got a whole lot of people in LA who just don't know how to fucking drive.
Well, you have to keep in mind that
the sheer number of cars on the road,
You have to keep in mind that the new bikes all come with traction control for rain. So even if you are in the rain, it will switch automatically.
When did they start doing that?
Well, no, my CBR 1000 didn't have any traction control. Didn't have wheelie control. It was all bike.
These racing bikes don't have a lot of that. Or now they give you an opportunity to switch on and off between having traction control or not.
You ever played that game, Frogger?
Hell yeah, that's my game.
That was me on the bike.
Oh gosh.
I remember when these SRT cars first started coming out, and I remember I had gotten my car. You had the option of having traction control or not, and like I said, the Vipers, the Viper that came out didn't have traction control at all. Didn't even give you that option, and folks were just it was spinning. They were spinning like CDs out.
Yes.
Yeah, it was spinning like CDs. So my view is like, learn what's going on. High performance, I really believe you should have some standard training behind it, man. I hate to sound so conservative, but I just think that I've seen just too much.
Absolutely.
I agree with you. I think that you have to do things smart like that. Else, why do you do it? It's not fun if you're so, if there's always that potential looming over of danger. I mean, anything's dangerous, right? I mean, you could jump into the shower and slip on a bar of soap, but you wouldn't soap the floor before you get in the tub. So I mean, things are just better when it's safer. There's nothing like nerdy or conservative about that. I think that's just American shit,
Yeah, man. I mean, and plus, you learn how to drive it better. You learn how to operate it better. You learn how to play more.
Right.
Coming from a guy who
was gonna say
with an Android phone.
Oh,
Say
come
it again?
on.
What did he say?
I didn't hear that. What happened?
I'm saying this is coming from a guy who drives a Audi S4 6-speed manual with an Android phone.
Yes.
That's living on the edge, man.
But bro,
Y'all hating.
bro, that's because I have seen
You really
so
shouldn't
much.
have an Android phone. I don't know what you're doing with that thing, but otherwise, I don't know. I didn't know what the other stuff he said was. I like Audis.
But look, listen, I have seen a lot, and I have lived a lot, and I have done a lot. I leave it at the track. That's why I take the track car to the track. I leave it at the track. Okay, and now when I go to the ring, I drive the car there, and then either I drive the car on Touristenfahrten, but on track days, I will go rent a race-prepared race car for the track day. I leave it on the track.
Yeah, that's smart.
Now, when it comes to even regular driving, I've raced, I've done a lot of racing, and listen, just a simple thing of when you're going to push hard, even when you're on the street, putting your hands at 9 and 3, you have so much more control over the vehicle.
Yes.
It's the same concept.
Yeah, you see someone his hands in the position on the wheel. Absolutely correct.
I mean, just little small things like that. Understanding weight transfer, understanding trail braking, understand hitting the apex when you're going through high speed turns on the highway and you're going to cut across lanes.
That's correct.
But again, I leave it on the track. For the most part, I'm in the middle lane and I'm just chilling.
Mm-hmm.
Only thing I really like about racing that I think is good on when you're driving on the highway is drafting off of a truck. Drafting off the big trucks. I think that's pretty fun. Knowing how that works, and then just letting that draft pull you right through, and you picked that up from racing. But outside of that, man, doing a lot of racing stuff on the road is dangerous as well.
So what's the fastest that y'all have driven in a car?
Me on the road?
Did I cut you, nigga? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. What's
I think I really do think I have an internet delay. What's the fastest y'all ever drove on the road? I think the fastest I've ever went was 100 and I didn't clock it, but it had probably about 108, 9. So it was a little less than 110.
I think the fastest I had in my car, and I was coming down. I was New York State Thruway. I was way up. I was upstate, coming back from my house, coming down. And I was hitting about a mile piece of road where there were no cops. I think I hit 150.
That was in a car, right?
That's when and that was the first one I really started feeling the downforce of my car. But I was going about $150, about $155.
Damn, yo, that's crazy. I really can't not even wrap my mind around that shit.
And I was lucky I didn't get caught, because if had a cop caught me, they just would have pulled me out and would have said, "Okay, listen."
And what's the fastest you ever went on a bike?
We got you at 150.
Well,
you know you're going to jail tonight, right?
You know what you did. The fuck?
How
fast are you going? I don't know.
Car-wise, when I was in Germany, I had a Ford Sierra, and I was doing about, I want to say 130, and the piston blew. And so I had to get towed all the way back from Nuremberg to Kaiserslautern. Luckily, my uncle's friend had a tow truck. And then I drove a rental Porsche. I had a 911 that I rented, and I got that one like 160 something. I couldn't tell exactly because it was the tachometer. But on my motorcycle, when I had my Hayabusa, now on my CBR I would go 185 every day.
On the road?
I would do that on I-45.
Unfucking believable.
Allegedly, because
where do you have the room to pull something like that off?
I-45 at night,
wow.
249 in Houston, and then 290 was where we would go. And then I would do now look, y'all, check this out. On my Hayabusa, I would do all the way to where I would be in 6th gear to all the way to the rev limiter. And that and the speedometer go up to 185. And I don't know how fast I was going because the speedometer would stop, but the rev limiter would still go. But now I would be doing that, and I had a guy that I would ride with. He had a Hayabusa, and he would pull past me.
Wow!
So he must have been doing like over 200, like
easy.
And this is in Germany. This is in Germany, right?
No. This is in the United States.
Oh, you're smoking.
Allegedly.
And you were doing 100, 200 miles an hour.
Allegedly, right. We don't know, right? Wow.
Listen,
Damn.
when I had my Hayabusa, I would top it out every time I drove it. Every day that I drove it, I would have to top it out.
But yet you don't want to you don't want to race a racing.
That's what I'm
car.
saying.
You're
I felt like
crack.
I had more control on a bike than I do in a car.
You are smoking crack.
Bro, I feel more control.
I can tell you this. I rented a Porsche 911 GT2 RS because I wanted to see the monster for myself. So I rented it. So on the A55 and the A555 Autobahn from Cologne to the Ring, I got it up to 201 on the Autobahn, and on the track coming down the main straight, which is the longest straight in the world, the Dongahua, I got it up to 205. So that's the fast
what was this?
The GT2 RS. Porsche.
Yeah, I've never been that fast in the car. RS. I've never been that fast in the car.
That's wild.
What kind of downforce were you feeling in that car, bro?
Bro, the car feels rock solid.
You know it. You know
can drive it like you can drive it with one finger.
Yeah,
and you literally
that.
take your hands off the wheel and it doesn't move. It feels like it's on rails at 200 miles an hour on rails.
Yeah, I can believe it. I couldn't believe that.
Sounds very interesting.
I couldn't believe it. Just in an SRT, I was driving a car and the downforce and that thing was so tight on the highway. It was really pressed down to the ground. I was like, wow. I was like, that's pretty good. So that's when I decided after that I was going to take it out. We're going to take it out to the track, and and I did that. But it was very interesting experience. Doing that.
Sounds fun, man. If I had the guts to go farther, the only reason I was doing all that high speed. And there were other cars on the road, but not too many, but and then one time I went close to that and there were still a lot of cars, but I was in a land I didn't really know that well, but everybody was going fast and stuff. But man, I would love to see how that feels, especially when you said how steady the car feels, because I can't even imagine that. Because once you get to that speed, your mind is telling you, I'm going this fast. I don't care how many times you've done it. You're still thinking about it. You know what I mean? And you realize the potential of what the fuck could happen. And so I guess it's mind over matter at that point. But if you have a solid feeling car, that probably wouldn't really overwhelm you. You'd be able to kind of ride it out and feel that,
but also you have to understand something. One thing, Germany is different from America. So lane discipline is much different in Germany. The left lane is literally only for passing. People do not hang out in the left lane. They're hauling ass. And if you're coming up behind, that's how it is in
Texas and Oklahoma. I think Texas, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if you're coming up behind someone and they see you coming up behind them, they will change lanes long before you get to them, just to let you go by. Okay, and there is no bobbing and weaving between lanes. You pass in the left lane. People do not bob and weave and change through lanes. Also, the Autobahn is not like highways in America. The way when it was designed, every turn is a wide sweeping turn, so you can take every turn as fast as that car can go.
That's beautiful.
If you want to go fast, you want to go fast,
Germany is about driving. It's about driving.
But also, driving out there, man. Also in the German Autobahn, what you'll find is that, and I found this out the hard way. If you miss your exit, you're driving 5-10 miles before the next exit. It ain't no exit every mile like here in America. Mm-hmm. So that's another thing. So you don't have all that influx of traffic interfering with the flow. And then the actual roads, it's like they keep the roads paved with fresh asphalt. So when you drive on Autobahn in Germany, you don't have all these potholes and all this other foolishness going on.
Right.
You don't have none of that.
What that is. That's just straight foolishness. Yes.
It was originally designed to have tanks on that bad boy.
Yes,
but the bottom line is you've got it set up such that you literally have almost like two highways built underneath. The Autobahn. It's just that thick. It's the asphalt's that thick. It's designed to be smooth, a smooth game. Where here, we're using like half the amount of materials on our roads and so forth. So it's a totally different game. Germany actually is designed to drive. It's designed to run. It's designed to do that. Literally to take you from one side of the country to the next. It's designed for that. It's designed. Germany is a driving culture. here we're a driving culture, but it's not about, you know, high level of driving and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I think to get a license out there in Germany is kind of expensive, isn't it?
Yeah, like 2,000 euro, right? Well,
Yeah.
it was 2,000 euro.
It's close to it. Yeah. It's close to, you know, so you know the driving test is more involved and so forth. So it's more of a driving culture where you know.
Have to know how to drive a manual. You cannot take your driving test in an automatic. You have to take your driving test in a manual.
Exactly. So here in the United States, anybody's getting a license.
Yeah,
much.
You got that right.
And
clearly.
anybody's driving out here, and you got people out here with
and then in Germany,
Germany,
the vision test is hard as hell. Like I couldn't pass the vision test the first time. I have to go back. I have to go to the eye doctor.
Shit up here.
The vision test is hard as hell.
Yeah, because you got Mr. Magoo out here driving and shit, making my life miserable when I'm trying to go to Walmart. So yeah, they need to kind of like really implement that more here.
You got Mr. Magoo. You got driving Miss Daisy when Miss Daisy's driving. When she
they in the car together, both driving at the same time.
And you've got all kind of miscreants on the road. It's ridiculous.
Yes.
I actually saw a guy driving a car one day, and he was driving with his steering wheel was going. He was actually using a wrench to turn his wheel.
Wow.
So I'm sitting there saying, this is some different type shit out here. So, you know, anything can happen. You know, the roads out here, you know, they're kind of ill, man. It's an ill situation. I mean, that's why you have so many fatalities.
So you said in Germany, that was in Germany, you saw the guy with the wrench?
Nah, man, I saw the man with the wrench up here in the States, man.
Okay,
Up here in the States, man. Dudes do anything out
here. They got everything going on out here. I tell you.
Maybe
this one lady hit me. She said, I thought, and I had only read some shit like this, and like, you know, you see elderly people getting into little things, little smash ups, and they'll say, I got the gas, they got the gas and the brake confused, but I never actually knew in real life this is happening. You know, it happened in Staten Island. I'm just chilling, coming from the vitamin shop. Boom! And I was driving a Buick, a really like ironclad Buick at the time. This is back in the day. And I wasn't even too sure what happened. I got out the car, like, where am I? She literally said to me, I wasn't sure which one was the gas and which was the brake. Like, yo, seriously? Like, yeah, this is the type of shit I figure. If you have higher standards for your license, you got to kind of get checked out, make sure you're all right. Like, listen, they got cabs. I mean, please.
All I'll say is this: driving in Germany is an absolute dream. When every time I go back home to New York, I'm like, oh God, I'm back among the savages.
It's a different game, man. It's a different game all the way.
Back among the savages, like
the savages,
the unbelievable shit they do,
and the hanging out in the left lane and the stupid shit, and it's like, oh, you don't want to drive, but you don't want me to pass you. But then as soon as I do pass you, then you just fall way back. Like, what the F? I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's just the mindset here. The mindset here is not about. It's a different mindset.
Totally different.
What about the New York turn, which is that you're in the whole other lane, but somehow you're making a whole left turn and you're not in the left lane? That's some shit that like you just kind of have to expect. People have their signals on. You figure they left it on. They don't know what's going on.
Signal.
You got cops pulling you over, telling you ran a red light. It's like, yo, I came out of drive-through. Like, I'm serious. It's literally like a free for all out there.
I'm telling you, these mayonnaise women and these mayonnaise women behind the wheel. I'm sorry.
So I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry. Like, what the fuck?
Mayonnaise women behind the wheel up around here.
They be confused as hell.
I don't know what they're on, man. I don't know what's going on with them. But
everyone, lady and gents. So it is me and my jacked up sleeping pattern. So it's quarter after 6 in the morning. Gonna go grab a bite to eat, finally go to sleep because my sleeping patterns are all jacked up as usual. It's been a great conversation. Everybody, you travel safe. Be well.
Thank you, Paul. It was very nice joining your panel. I enjoyed it. And thank you to everybody for the conversation. I'll talk to y'all next time.
Boa noite. Boa noite.
All right.
Should we tell Complex to shut down the stream?
Wait. Oh yeah, I think I do have to shut down the stream here. All right. Let's see here. Thank you guys for coming out. Check the community tab for updates and what have you, because we're always posting some cool stuff. Posted some track footage from this past weekend out of Buttonwillow. And yeah, you know, I think we have a live stream scheduled for tomorrow, geopolitics. And with that, we are out. Peace.
Peace.